In the hazy mist, a silver-haired man stood half-dressed, his upper body bare. A girl trembled, clutching his robe, drawing closer to the alluring man, thinking she might not survive the night. Contrary to the scene filled with lust, Ling Dao's expression was one of near despair. Because I've stripped the clothes off the biggest villain in the book, help. And it turns out that person is Shen Wu, the renowned chief disciple of the true Yang Sword sect, the most valued heir of the Shen family, a cultivation family, a hero to countless celestial men and women. In Amber Creek, he is also the demon that makes the righteous path tremble with fear, especially with his cold appearance and shining eyes, a mysterious face hidden beneath a silver mask. More importantly, he has a mysterious identity, and people have always been wary of him. A terrifying image surfaced, a girl screaming in agony as she was bound by countless chains, lightning striking from the sky, blazing flames below. That was the latter half of the novel, where the divine Dr. Ling Dao's flesh and blood were sacrificed to the heavens, attracting countless thunderbolts, ascending on the spot into a demon god. The final boss, Shen Wu, revealed a crazed smile. Back in the present, Ling Dao smiled bitterly. If she had known this would happen, she would rather die than touch the corner of his robe. She really wanted to go back to a few hours ago. A few hours earlier, in the peaceful and serene Four Symbols heaven, Ling Dao carried her medicine basket on her shoulder. Mu Hua stood prettily at the doorway, looking down at her, reminding Ling Dao that there were some herbs here, and she should take them to the Double Gate Pharmacy to exchange them for some monthly allowance. After entering, be careful of one thing. Don't offend your senior brother. She accepted them with both hands and agreed. A moment later, Ling Dao leisurely walked onto the path. In the forest, she recalled that she had transmigrated more than 10 days after finishing a project into her favorite bloody romance novel from her school days. She became a character who revolved around the male and female leads, unable to even die with dignity. The Ling Dao of her past life sat at her desk, her soul leaving her body, her face full of worry. That's right, she was that tragic side character. Back to the main point, the image of an extremely beautiful girl surfaced. I remember Ling Dao in this novel was a highly skilled divine doctor, having already reached the nascent soul stage. Sounds intimidating. That hand gently caught a falling yellow leaf, and she couldn't help but associate it. Sounds powerful, but wouldn't she still be defeated by a single finger from Shen Wu? Cultivating and studying the ethics of the heavenly Dao, the cause and effect of right and wrong, she was bound by a series of chains. The novel may not be the heavenly Dao, but the male and female leads are the children of the heavenly Dao. Chosen by the heavenly Dao, you absolutely cannot provoke the cause and effect, the fate of the protagonists. Otherwise, your body and soul will be obliterated in an instant. Ling Dao's ending was to be reduced to ashes, her soul instantly dissipating. She lay there unconsciously, dying, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth. Ling Dao pursed her lips, clenched her fists, and made up her mind. In this life, I will no longer be a tool, and I will absolutely not let that tragedy repeat itself. She smiled. All right, I've decided. My motto for this life is, first, protect my life. Second, live to the end. But not long after, Ling Dao glared angrily at the thing in her hand, a guide token that required spirit stones to be charged. She complained as she walked. This true Yang Sword sect has thousands of mountains and valleys. How am I supposed to get back? She threw the guide token on the ground and yelled, why did the author have to create such an ordinary fantasy world? Ultimately, in this world, using any magical treasure requires charging with spirit stones. What's worse, the Four Symbols Heaven sect is dirt poor, and everyone lives a difficult life. More than 10 people in the sect are entirely supported by the inner disciples. Ling Dao spread her fingers and counted, tears in her eyes. Money is really important. Not only do I need to protect my life and cultivate, but I also can't skimp on equipment and magical artifacts. She looked up at the sky. It seems I have to find a way to earn more spirit stones. She suddenly turned her head. Ling Dao thought with confusion. She saw bloodstains everywhere on the ground. Whoa, was there a fight here just now? But what attracted her attention even more was that there was a pile of spiritual herbs in front of her, making Ling Dao stammer, th. Ling Dao covered her face in ecstasy. Oh my God, these are all rare spiritual herbs. She picked up the spiritual herbs, gathering them one after another, and threw them into her medicine basket. I should be able to exchange these for quite a few spirit stones. Hee hee, I have to collect them all. Ling Dao laughed happily, stroking the spiritual herbs in her hands. Suddenly, something rushed towards her from behind, and before Ling Dao could react, her medicine basket was snatched away. A white wolf bit onto the medicine basket and dragged her along with it. Ling Dao screamed in panic, "Ah, help!" After a while, the white wolf finally stopped and nudged Ling Dao, making her extremely embarrassed. Ling Dao cried out softly, "Ouch." Seeing the giant beast nuzzling her leg as if begging, Ling Dao trembled. "Are you asking me to save him?" She turned and saw him covered in blood, her heart clenching with a surge of panic. He was badly injured, but she couldn't just leave him. Ling Dao hesitated. Saving someone comes with consequences. She fretted internally, should she save him or not? The white wolf suddenly howled, interrupting her thoughts. The low growl sounded like it was ready to bite at any moment. Ling Dao panicked. All right, I get it. Don't rush me. Don't come near me." She hurried forward to examine the wounds. "Here, take off your clothes. Let me see the injury." Suddenly, a hand lashed out. The hand, decisive and powerful, shoved her hard to the ground. Ling Dao was startled by the sudden movement. He pinned her down, spiritual energy exploding around them. His face was grim, his teeth gritted as he growled, "What ignorant little demon are you?" Ling Dao's heart pounded. "He thinks I'm a demon." She quickly explained, "Senior brother, listen to me. I'm a spiritual cultivator from the Four Symbols Heaven, not some ignorant little demon." Ling Dao squeezed her eyes shut, despair washing over her. He was so close. He didn't say a word, his face etched with impatience. Suddenly, a thud. Ling Dao jolted up in fright. Heavens, did he faint? "Senior brother, are you all right?" Suddenly, his pupils contracted sharply, his jaw clenched. Shen Wu seemed to be caught in some kind of illusion. Inexplicably, he and Ling Dao were lying in bed together. His firm abdominal muscles were faintly visible through his thin robe, the air thickening with tension. In the illusion, she caressed Shen Wu's face, murmuring softly. Shen Wu gently stroked the girl's hair, their faces close, intimate, and affectionate. He softly called out, "Junior sister." But in reality, Shen Wu collapsed on the ground, gasping for breath. Ling Dao unfastened his clothes, revealing a mangled mess of flesh and blood. She sighed, deciding to prioritize saving his life, ignoring the potential consequences for now. Ling Dao focused on healing him, losing track of time. She carefully applied medicine to Shen Wu. "Excuse me, senior brother." As soon as her hand touched him, his pupils dilated sharply. Shen Wu fell into the illusion again, the scene before him shattering his composure. "What's going on?" He gritted his teeth, thinking, it must be this little demon's sorcery. A murderous glint flashed in Shen Wu's eyes. This little demon is actually a woman. She must die today. Ling Dao, unaware of the change in his eyes, continued to focus on healing him. After a long while, she finally exclaimed, "Done?" Looking at her handiwork, she couldn't help but applaud herself. The wound was bandaged, the bleeding stopped. While packing up, she added, "Once the medicine takes full effect, you'll be able to move normally, but remember to go back to the sect for further treatment." She seemed to suddenly remember something, hesitating. "Oh, right." Shen Wu looked at her, puzzled by her hesitant words. After a long hesitation, Ling Dao finally spoke, her eyes sparkling and her expression cute. "I just used 3 flame Buddha herbs on you, plus the consultation fee, bandaging fee, and travel expenses, so I'll only charge you." Ling Dao's eyes gleamed with cunning as she smiled, pretending it was a bargain. Just 10 rank 5 spirit stones. Ling Dao appeared relaxed, but Shen Wu was extremely serious, remaining silent for a long time. Seeing him speechless, she filled in the blanks herself. "Senior brother probably doesn't have any money, right?" Putting on an understanding expression, she nodded. "I knew it. We're fellow disciples. It's only right to help each other out in times of danger." At some point, Ling Dao had prepared an IOU. She enthusiastically pressed Shen Wu's hand onto it. "Senior brother, just sign this IOU for now." Emboldened by the prospect of payment, she waved goodbye with a smile. "Senior brother, once your spiritual power recovers, have someone send the spirit stones and the IOU to the Four Symbols Heaven. Thank you for your patronage." Shen Wu trembled with rage, struggling to suppress his fury. "When I can move, the first thing I'll do is kill this audacious little thing." Looking at his trembling body, Ling Dao suddenly froze, as if she had come to a sudden realization. Her mouth opened slightly in surprise. She stepped forward, took Shen Wu's hand, and looked at him with deep affection, her voice soft. Senior brother, there's no need for gratitude. A healer's heart is compassionate. This is all I should do. An illusion flashed through Shen Wu's mind again, one where they were lifting each other's chins, about to take things further. Looking at his hand being held, Shen Wu was so furious he nearly transformed into a beast. She's using her charm technique on me again. Ling Dao looked at him with pity, as if saying, Senior brother, don't mind it. But she didn't know he was inwardly cursing. I can't control this charm technique here at all. This woman can't be spared. I must kill her. After a seemingly heartfelt farewell, Ling Dao patted the white wolf's head and instructed, I've saved your master. Now, please take me back. The white wolf barked in response. Seeing the two of them interacting like master and servant, Shen Wu's face darkened even more. He looked down at the trace of spiritual energy remaining in his hand and thought to himself, it took so long to accumulate this little bit of spiritual energy. Damn it, if it weren't for that damned poison. Shen Wu's brow remained furrowed. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. He had almost taken her life. Killing intent overflowed from his eyes. Ling Dao patted the white wolf's head again, finally letting out a sigh of relief. Well then, she waved goodbye to Shen Wu. Senior brother, I'll be going now. Don't forget about the spirit stones. Hearing this, Shen Wu nearly had a stroke, and the small amount of spiritual energy he had gathered dissipated. Watching the receding figure of the white wolf carrying Ling Dao on its back, her soft laughter still echoing, Shen Wu couldn't utter a word, only managing a look of utter disgust. As if unable to contain his anger, he started coughing up blood on the spot. That stupid thing actually took her away. Shen Wu, still injured, suffered another blow, fuming so much that he wanted to stew the white wolf in his soup tomorrow. Night deepened, and moonlight bathed the small pavilion. Ling Dao smiled brightly, hugging the wolf's head as it licked her face. Ha ha ha, all right, let's go home now. Hearing her words, the wolf looked panicked, tears welling up in its eyes. Ling Dao turned to leave, stretching languidly. You've worked hard, carrying your master home. The wolf also turned and howled as it departed. Suddenly, as she walked, Ling Dao sensed something and stopped. A sharp voice rang out. Oh my, we told you to go into the city to deliver medicine, and you use it as an excuse to wander around all day. Standing before her were her two senior sisters, one tall and one short, arms crossed, looking at Ling Dao with mocking smiles. The senior sister with the double bun spoke. This little monster is at a critical point in her cultivation, and she dares to do this after such a short time. The other nodded in agreement. Exactly. If Master finds out, just wait and see how she deals with you. Listening to her senior sisters, Ling Dao was speechless, thinking to herself, here we go again, the sisterly bullying. We're all fellow disciples. Is it necessary to make things so difficult for each other? The taller senior sister leaned down slightly towards Ling Dao. Tell us the truth. Where did you go just now? Otherwise, both of them grinned menacingly. We'll teach you a lesson on Master's behalf. Ling Dao didn't say anything, only sighing inwardly. If that's the case, I can only use this tactic. Thinking this, Ling Dao immediately put her plan into action, her face flushing slightly as she touched the back of her neck. It's all because I wanted to gather more medicinal herbs to offer to Master. Tears welled up in her eyes as she stalled for time. Ling Dao unleashed her ultimate green tea technique, clasping her hands together in front of her chest, looking at the two with a pitiful yet dignified expression. Senior sisters, please be magnanimous. You wouldn't get angry over such a small matter, would you? This move was too powerful. Ling Dao seemed to have her own halo, dazzling her two senior sisters. Full of resentment, they quickly turned to leave. Cough, cough, just remember this. Don't do it again. Shuang Rui, let's go. Ling Dao stood behind them, waving goodbye with a bright smile. Goodbye, senior sisters. The next morning, a loud shout echoed from the small courtyard. Ling Dao. Ling Dao was still fast asleep, but urgent calls came from outside. Ling Dao, get up quickly. Something big has happened. She pretended not to hear, muttering to herself. The most important thing in the world is sleep. Suddenly, someone appeared out of nowhere, yanking off Ling Dao's blanket and saying helplessly, how can you be so hopeless? Get up. The junior brother frowned as he pulled the blanket away, scolding, Senior brother Shen Wu has come to our four symbols heaven. Senior brother Zhao Shuani and senior sister Meng Tianshu are here too. Ling Dao gasped. What? Her face was filled with worry as she thought. Senior brother Shen Wu and also the male lead Zhao Shuani and the female lead Meng Tianshu. The junior brother's urging voice still rang in her ears. Hurry up. She quickly dressed, thinking, I'm so dead. Ling Dao hastily slipped on her shoes, desperately trying to run faster, while grumbling resentfully. Why do those three troublemakers have to come to Four Symbols Heaven of all places? She gritted her teeth and muttered to herself, I don't even know what happened. Ling Dao stopped at the door, a thought suddenly striking her. I'll just find a place to hide first. With that in mind, she immediately reached out and pushed the door open, thinking she just needed to get out of there. As soon as the door opened, Ling Dao bumped right into her master, Mu Hua. Seeing her, Mu Hua smiled and said, Disciple, you've come just in time. I was just about to look for you. Ling Dao looked at her master, nearly crying, thinking how coincidental this was. But on the surface, she pretended to be nonchalant. Master, why are you visiting my little pharmacy today? Is there something you need to ask me? Mu Hua stepped aside, gesturing to the person behind her. We'll talk about that later. Go and greet your senior brother Shen Wu first. The person behind her was indeed Shen Wu, who was staring coldly at her. Ling Dao's eyes widened, staring at him in shock. Senior brother. She thought worriedly, wait, this person is the villain, Shen Wu. Ling Dao remembered her master's warning. When you reach the crossroads, the most important thing to be careful of is not to offend your senior brother Shen Wu. The image of herself grabbing Shen Wu's clothes flashed through her mind. Not only did she tear his clothes again, but she also gleefully extorted 10 5-elements spirit stones from him. Not only that, but she also took advantage of his immobility to write an IOU and even rebelliously made him stamp it with his handprint. Recalling everything she had done to the fearsome senior brother Shen Wu, Ling Dao froze, screaming internally, I'm so dead. Mu Hua was still introducing her to Shen Wu. This is my recently accepted disciple, Ling Dao. Although she's a demon, she has innate dual water and earth spiritual roots. She's so young, yet can already use spiritual power to cultivate spirit herbs. I happened to see her and brought her back. Ling Dao lowered her head, hiding behind her master, stammering, HLO, senior brother. Seeing her like this, Mu Hua could only smile helplessly. This child is very honest and a little shy. Don't laugh at her. Shen Wu listened to Mu Hua with his arms crossed, his entire body emitting a cold aura. He said coldly, honest. Ling Dao screamed frantically in her mind, help. Shen Wu held up the life and death book between two fingers and said in a low voice, Junior sister Ling Dao. He quickly handed her the money pouch and the life and death book. This is your payment and the life and death book. Ling Dao never expected this. She pursed her lips, looking at the items in front of her with bewilderment and fear. Shen Wu reminded her with a dangerous look as we agreed. Upon hearing this, Ling Dao's eyes immediately filled with tears. Trembling, she reached out and took them, stammering excitedly, as senior brother, you're so good. Inwardly, she was screaming, help. When Mu Hua turned around, she looked at Ling Dao, burning the life and death book with confusion. What are you doing? Ling Dao forced a smile. Nothing, master. In her mind, she thought, quickly destroy the evidence. Mu Hua continued to question, what's going on between you two? Ling Dao hurriedly changed the subject. Master, you haven't told me why you were looking for me. She asked again, Master, you haven't told me why you were looking for me. Mu Hua nodded, especially for your senior brother Zhao Shuani. I heard there's a medicine that can detoxify, so your eldest senior brother came specifically to get the medicine. Ling Dao recalled Zhao Shuani's appearance and repeated in a panic, senior brother Zhao. That monster. She rested her chin on her hand, pondering, right according to the timeline, the male lead is about to level up. The image of Zhao Shuani standing in front of the 8 trigrams formation, surrounded by swirling purple smoke and black flowers, beautiful and dangerous, appeared in Ling Dao's mind. She recalled the novel's plot. Zhao Shuani was the male protagonist, the son of a demon, hiding within the young sword sect. He had already inherited hundreds of years of cultivation from others, and after breaking through the 5th realm, he would obtain his golden finger. The image of Zhao Shuani in her mind gradually became entangled in crisscrossing chains. His hand reached out to the golden finger that granted immunity to all poisons. Ling Dao subconsciously compared Shen Wu and Zhao Shuani, picturing them standing back to back. In other words, Zhao Shuani hadn't yet reached the 5th realm of demonic cultivation, and his cultivation was still lower than Shen Wu's. If it weren't for the protagonist's halo and luck, the novel's plot wouldn't have even unfolded yet. She couldn't help but wonder If she got involved with him now, would the plot completely collapse? The image of the entire book scattered on the ground, cover and pages flying everywhere, flashed through her mind, as if confirming the fate of a cannon fodder character. Ling Dao pondered. The more chaotic the plot, the more dangerous it became. She raised her other hand, clenching it into a fist, her resolve hardening. Just then, she inadvertently glanced at the person standing beside her. Then she raised a hand to her forehead, suddenly exclaiming, "Oh dear, oh dear." Ling Dao feigned extreme exhaustion. Master, what's wrong with me? I suddenly feel unwell. My head hurts. My legs hurt. My heart hurts too. She turned, hesitating. If that's the case, then the medicine. She had to commit to the act. Forcing out a few fake tears, she said pitifully, "The medicine." Mu Hua suddenly grabbed her shoulders, startling her. Seeming to have already guessed what she was about to say, she immediately interrupted, "No way." Then, she continued to press, leaving Ling Dao no room to argue. "No way, no way. What does a demon clan member know about antidotes? Do you know how to cure him?" She continued to persuade. "It's better if you go yourself." Hearing this, Ling Dao's fake crying turned into real tears. Mu Hua, on the other hand, seemed quite excited. Covering her mouth, she whispered, "Silly disciple, I'm creating an opportunity for you, understand?" Ling Dao wore an expression that clearly said, "I don't want to understand at all." Mu Hua continued, "If you can cure your senior brother Zhao, that disciple can put in a good word for us in front of the elders, and the reward will be great." Although nothing had happened yet, Mu Hua was already fantasizing about the wonderful scene of her disciple making a meritorious contribution. She clenched her fists, her eyes full of longing for the future. "Maybe they'll even recommend you for a sect exchange cultivation." Hearing this, a clear look of bewilderment appeared on Ling Dao's face, but she still tried to echo, "Is there really such a good thing?" Suddenly, someone called out, "Marshal Aunt Mu." Hearing the voice, the master and disciple immediately turned to look. Shen Wu continued, "I'll go get the medicine and escort junior sister Ling back to her room to rest." Ling Dao froze, not yet reacting. The corners of Shen Wu's mouth turned up slightly as he said, "It just so happens I can talk to her about yesterday's matter. I wonder what junior sister Ling thinks." Upon hearing this, Ling Dao felt as if she had been struck by lightning, screaming for help in her heart. She quickly backed away, laughing awkwardly. "Ha ha! No need to trouble senior brother." Ling Dao looked back at the two as she fled. Master's right. Compared to senior brother Zhao's injuries, this little headache of mine is nothing. We can't delay. Hurry and get the medicine to see senior brother Zhao. She looked up at the sky, silently praying, "Heavens bless me. Please don't let me have any conflict with the male and female leads. I just want to live to the end." Elsewhere, Meng Tianshu was anxiously praying with her palms together, whispering, "Senior brother is bringing someone over soon." Meng Tianshu looked at Zhao Shuani, who was lying weakly on the bed. "Shuani, you must hold on." The smell of smoke filled Zhao Shuani's messy room, the atmosphere unusually quiet. Shen Wu walked in front, turning back to say, "It's here, come in." Quite a few people had already gathered inside. Shen Wu called out, "Tianshu, I've brought her." The female lead of the novel, Meng Tianshu, replied happily, "Senior brother, you're back. This must be junior sister Ling, right? Please come in." The female lead's aura made Ling Dao's eyes light up. "This is Meng Tianshu. No wonder she's the female lead. She's truly breathtakingly beautiful." The more she looked, the more she couldn't help but sigh. "That face is truly captivating," Tianshu said somewhat shyly. "Although I'm an alchemist, my skills are limited, and I'm truly powerless." Ling Dao was already praising her wildly in her heart. "This temperament, this voice," Tianshu said urgently, "Junior sister Ling." But Ling Dao's mind was full of praise. And this figure, she rushed forward and grabbed Ling Dao's hand. "Please, save Shuani." Ling Dao didn't dare to look directly into those shining eyes, wailing inwardly, "Ah, too dazzling." She struggled to avert her gaze, cold sweat beading on her forehead. Suddenly, she could understand why Ling Dao in the novel had fallen head over heels for them. She began to recall the original plot of the novel. The female lead and Ling Dao were both alchemists, with some connection in their bloodlines. But Ling Dao was slightly inferior in talent. Tianshu spent a lot of time with her, and after they became friends, she always wanted Ling Dao to teach her alchemy. Later, After meeting Shuni, she still maintained her old habits, often bringing the male lead to Ling Dao to ask for advice and pills. Only Ling Dao's bad luck remained unchanged. Unexpectedly, in the end, the protagonist's group's ending, she still died. She realized that the supporting female character in the original work was actually quite pitiful, her feelings for Shuni. You could say she wasn't any less than Meng Tianshu, yet she could only watch from afar as the leads were together, secretly and awkwardly standing to the side, timid and gentle. Her humble, yet deep affection. Perhaps the villainess's resentment began right here. Thus, she sacrificed herself for love, choosing to silently protect the male lead, even willing to give everything for his love, adding fuel to the fire. Even at the critical juncture of life and death, she couldn't voice those words of love. Thinking about this, Ling Dao couldn't help but furrow her brows in heartache, feeling increasingly sorrowful for her. She began to sink into deep thought. Honestly, I never understood Ling Dao's actions before, not until I saw the true nature of the male and female leads. After a moment of contemplation, she reached a conclusion. It seems Meng Tianshu possesses a beautiful, delicate, and pitiful face, and the protagonist's halo shrouds all beings, making it impossible not to feel compassion for her. And Zhao Shuni, even poisoned and on the verge of death, his handsomeness couldn't be concealed, but instead it added to his charm. She nodded to herself, her expression filled with infinite sympathy. I understand you, Ling Dao. These two, who would be willing to hurt them? Who wouldn't say they were a match made in heaven? If I hadn't read the novel and known how tragic Ling Dao's ending was, I definitely wouldn't refuse any of their requests. Thinking of this, a glint of determination flashed in her eyes. Ling Dao, I'm not like you. I won't die without doing anything. I want to live until the end. I must change the ending. Ling Dao tiptoed over to examine Zhao Shuni's injuries. Although she was mentally prepared, the wounds were still frighteningly severe. The poison had already corroded the edges of the wound, not to mention the demonic energy entwined around it. Purification would definitely take a considerable amount of time. Zhao Shuni's injuries were no small matter. The poisonous energy had spread throughout his body, making Ling Dao hesitant. Although not incurable, it would still take several days to heal, and she didn't want to spend that much time with them. Meng Tianshu, who had been anxiously worried, hesitantly spoke. Junior sister Ling, can you cure him? Ling Dao thought to herself, I have to find a reason to ditch these people. She forced a smile and replied, Senior brother Zhao's injuries are quite serious. It's still early. Why don't we go down the mountain to Dan Peak and find a medical cultivator to treat him? She was about to shirk responsibility and make a quick escape. After all, I'm just one person, I'm afraid. But Shen Wu suddenly grabbed her from behind. Don't be in such a hurry to leave, junior sister Ling. Ling Dao immediately feigned a frightened expression, her heart trembling. Shen Wu, oh no, I forgot about the protagonist's halo. He looked at her with a smile that held 90% killing intent. Tianshu, you wouldn't happen to be unaware of junior sister Ling's high medical fees, would you? Ling Dao could only lament inwardly. This hateful villain wants revenge on me. Isn't this clearly trying to make the female lead misunderstand me? But on second thought, she suddenly realized the advantage. Good heavens, is there a more perfect excuse for greed than this? The female lead will definitely hate me and then leave with the male lead. Shen Wu, you truly are the biggest villain in the novel, always having the most perfect justifications. Ling Dao quickly turned to leave. Yes. Spiritual energy is scarce now, and spiritual herbs and pills are rare. She added in a dangerous tone, not to mention senior brother Zhao's injuries. I don't know how much it will cost to cure him. Meng Tianshu hurriedly stopped her. I know. As long as you can cure Shuni, name your price. Seeing her so confident, Ling Dao turned around and sized her up. Oh, any price. So, how much have you prepared? Meng Tianshu quickly named a number. 10 grade, 4 spirit stones. Is that enough? Hearing this number, Ling Dao practically drooled, her eyes shining. 10 spirit stones. How can I refuse such generosity? But I don't want to have money and no life to spend it. Seeing Ling Dao's silence, Meng Tianshu panicked slightly. Noticing the change in her expression, she thought, as senior brother said, her fees are indeed high. Calming down, she suppressed the urge to refuse. Senior sister, I still think. But Meng Tianshu decisively and forcefully interrupted her. 100. Ling Dao couldn't believe her ears and asked in a daze, huh? Meng Tianshu readily took out the money, looking extravagant. 100 grade, 4 spirit stones. This is just a down payment. If you truly cure him, I'll give you double. Ling Dao was so shocked she couldn't speak, nearly collapsing onto the ground. 100 spirit stones. She quickly calculated in her mind. Asterisk in the cultivation world, 1 grade 4 spirit stone is worth 10,000. Asterisk, so 100 is 1 million. This was a number she wouldn't even dare to dream of, and she could only drool enviously. Is this the power of a wealthy benefactor? Ling Dao's heart couldn't help but waver, but she still had to pretend to be calm. Calm down, I must stay calm. The money is a lot, but my life is more important. Where was I? Senior sister. Before I could finish, Mu Huaqiao hurriedly shouted, deal. Deal. We have a deal. Seeing her master rush out and snatch all the spirit stones, she was startled. Master, where did you come from? She quickly tugged at his sleeve, seemingly with a plan in mind. Ah, Dower, come here for a moment. He pleaded with an extremely pitiful expression, his eyes brimming with tears. Dower, when have I ever treated you poorly? Think about it. After this is done, there will be 300 spirit stones, 300 in total. Ling Dao was caught in a dilemma, unsure what to do. Mu Huaqiao, however, persisted relentlessly. These 300 spirit stones are enough to sustain our 4 symbols heaven for 2 years. No, 3 years without having to painstakingly gather herbs on the mountain. This time, it all depends on your performance, my good disciple. The more Ling Dao listened, the more troubled she became, sweat dripping down her face. Her master's reluctance to part with the money made her ponder. But then she thought, even if she couldn't cure these people, they would accuse her of failing to save them. It was better to accept the payment and find a place to hide. But if she did that, wouldn't she be even further away from the male and female leads? After weighing the pros and cons for a long time, she finally nodded. All right, I agree. Hearing this, everyone else was overjoyed. Good disciple, that's wonderful. Ling Dao ignored their cheers and directly announced, but I have one condition. You all have to leave while I'm treating him. Meng Tianshu seemed anxious, hesitantly saying, Can I stay? Perhaps senior brother Zhao will need me. But Ling Dao firmly refused. No, having someone nearby will distract me. If I accidentally hurt someone, don't blame me. Tianshu was left speechless. In truth, Ling Dao had already planned this in her heart. How could she possibly let Meng Tianshu stay? What if she discovered that Ling Dao was only applying medicine and felt that it wasn't worth the price and regretted it? She quickly put the spirit stones into her bag, her heart still filled with unease. Feeling a sharp gaze fixed on her, Ling Dao felt a little guilty. Why hasn't this person left yet? Didn't he hear what I just said? She turned around and forced a calm smile. Senior brother Shen, is there a problem? Shen Wu's expression was unpredictable, as if he was lost in thought. I'm just a little curious. Last night, when you treated my injuries, why didn't you have this rule? He slowly approached. Some people can't be cured, can they? When they were face to face, his gaze became even sharper. Or rather, unless your medical skills are lacking and you're afraid of being exposed, is that why? His intimidating demeanor forced Ling Dao to squeeze out a weak smile. Of course not. Suddenly, a halo of light wrapped around Shen Wu's hand, making her heart clench. My hand. A sword slowly materialized, resting quietly in his hand. She stared at the sword, transfixed. Why does this sword look so familiar? Isn't this Zhang Yuan's sword? She didn't understand why Shen Wu had suddenly drawn such a large sword. Ling Dao trembled inwardly. Is this senior brother going to kill me now? He smiled faintly and explained, high-grade spiritual artifacts. The more they are nourished with spirit stones, the faster they improve. Following me, it will eat more and more. The spirit stone pouch at Ling Dao's waist suddenly lit up, probably influenced by Zhang Yuan's sword. Her item's grade was too low, and the contents of her pouch were right in front of it, making it drool. He continued speaking in a way that made no sense to her, and she cursed inwardly. I'm gonna go crazy if this keeps going. These pieces of information finally processed in Ling Dao's mind, but she was still confused. What kind of bizarre setting is this? No wonder they say sword cultivators are poor and alchemists are rich. It turns out swords actually eat spirit stones. That sword actually absorbed all the spirit stones. The sword continued to feast on its own, and Shen Wu casually loosened his grip, letting it do as it pleased. Watching the spirit stones vanish into thin air, Ling Dao's heart ached, tears almost falling. It just ate the spirit stones. I could have bought so many things with those. It hurt so much. The more satisfied the Tang Yuan sword became, the more distress she felt. Is it full now? I've heard that ancient swords are bloodthirsty. Is this also a Shang-Chi? But I've never actually seen a sword that isn't bloodthirsty. It seemed to have an insatiable appetite for money. After finishing its snack, the sword returned to Shen Wu's hand. He leaned back in his chair, casually saying, "The elders asked me to find a few disciples with potential. I think you're not bad, and I'm considering you. As long as you cure senior brother Zhao, I'll report truthfully to the elders." Ling Dao obediently agreed on the surface, but inwardly she complained, "Can you also put in a good word for me?" Grumbling to herself, she hurried to attend to the matter at hand, walking towards Zhao Shuni's bedside. Then she gently took his pulse. Ling Dao thought to herself, "Thankfully it's just a high fever caused by a wound infection, not some complicated illness." She began to treat the wound, needing only to remove the infected, decaying flesh. Using a small knife, she carefully cleaned the wound. The originally mangled flesh gradually recovered somewhat. Then, using her spiritual energy, she stitched the wound closed. This small injury was nothing, really. After all, the male lead was of the demon race, with extremely strong regenerative abilities, and he was the protagonist. After finishing the treatment, she applauded herself. "All right, perfectly done." Immediately after, Ling Dao handed Tian Shu a slip of paper and instructed, "Senior sister, take this prescription to the medicine hall and have them decoct the medicine according to the proportions written here. Boil 3 bowls of water down to 1 and have him drink it to bring down the fever." Tian Shu tilted her head, looking bewildered. "Boil 3 bowls of water down to 1. What's that? What's the use of this prescription?" Seeing her clueless expression, Ling Dao was a little surprised. "Don't you understand traditional medicine? What's the purpose of the sex medicine hall?" Tian Shu replied indifferently, "It's for medical cultivators and alchemists." Hearing this, Ling Dao was speechless. So, pills were only used to improve cultivation, not to treat illnesses. It was completely different from traditional medicine. Ling Dao scratched her face and decided to ask one more question. "Have you ever heard of boiling these medicinal herbs together into a medicinal soup to detoxify or heal injuries?" Everyone looked bewildered, stunned, speechless. Since that was the case, she had no choice but to patiently explain, "This is the simplest treatment method in traditional medicine. You're all descendants of the Yin and Huang emperors. How can you be so surprised by the things left behind by your ancestors?" After a busy day, the sun finally set, and Ling Dao was still racking her brains. It turned out that the common sense of this world was completely different from her previous life. She almost made a huge fool of herself. She remembered Ming Tianshu's surprised expression. Actually, only by learning the basics of traditional medicine can you learn more advanced medical skills. Just as she was thinking, she was suddenly interrupted by a question. "Who are you?" Ugh. The more she thought about it, the more depressed she became. She could only sigh. She didn't expect the foundation of traditional medicine in this era to be so different. These people had completely deviated from the original track. These problems made her lower her head in frustration, cursing inwardly. "Damn author, what kind of crappy novel did you write? This is such a headache." It seems they won't leave until Zhao Shuni's brother is cured. Ling Dao felt that the days ahead probably wouldn't be easy. She only hoped that everyone wouldn't dwell too much on what had just happened. Heavens bless me, I just want to live a peaceful life. Thinking of her miserable future life, she couldn't help but shiver. Wait, if the plot is ruined, will I be struck by lightning? No. Dragging her heavy steps, she finally returned home. "I'm back." As soon as she entered the door, all she could think about was eating. "Hey Ju, what's for dinner tonight?" Her junior brother was busy preparing something and hurriedly replied, "Junior sister Ling, you're back. We have a lot of distinguished guests today, and the living room is too small." He quickly added, "We need to entertain senior brother." Ling Dao exclaimed in surprise, "What?" Inwardly, she cried, "No matter how dilapidated and small Four Symbols Peak is, there should at least be a spare room, right? You want him to stay in my tiny medical clinic. Confused, she continued to ask, "What nonsense did you spout that day? How did you agree to this?" Her junior brother immediately replied, "Senior brother is already outside. Go ask him yourself." Master said to listen to senior brother. Ling Dao hadn't yet reacted. "He's really here." At this moment, a voice came from outside. "Let's have braised goose tonight." A familiar voice rang out again. "Don't go to any trouble." Shen Wu pointed excitedly at the geese in the courtyard. "Aren't these ready-made?" "Two of them." She hurried out to stop him. "Big white, little white, no?" Sensing the danger, the geese huddled together, trembling. He provoked her with an infuriating tone. "Junior sister, do you disagree?" She put on a gentle smile. No, it's just that killing geese is still killing a living being. I'm a vegetarian while I'm treating patients to accumulate some virtue." But he was still aggressive. "It's fine. You eat vegetarian, I'll eat braised goose. We won't interfere with each other." She forced a smile, but inwardly she cursed. Why is this person so annoying? Looking at the two geese happily playing after being rescued, she couldn't bear it. She had painstakingly raised these two geese. How could they end up in someone else's stomach? "Senior brother, it's like this. I brought these two geese back from the foot of the mountain. Although they're not spirit fowl, they have a lot of toxins in their bodies. I'll have Ju catch two fish. How about grilled fish tonight?" Shen Wu's face immediately darkened. TSK, what a hassle. He prepared to make a move. Now the two geese were in even greater danger. Instead of focusing on saving the person, he said in a commanding tone, "Bring the goose over here." Shen Wu flicked his finger, sending a wisp of spiritual energy flying out. "Go!" The wisp of energy landed right on Ling Dao, startling her. The spiritual energy quickly transformed into a goose, as if by magic. Wow, it's actually a real goose. Shen Wu continued to urge her in that same commanding tone, "Hurry up and stew it." Ling Dao wailed inwardly. Why do villains always have to be so unpredictable? Can't we at least have a decent meal before hitting the road? She thought, after dinner tonight, as I walk, I'll savor the memory. Sigh, this meal is truly terrifying. Thinking of that grim face, she couldn't help but shiver. "Little junior sister, come, eat this goose leg. Eat more, don't waste it." Villains always say such strange things, making it impossible to eat, yet also impossible not to eat. Ling Dao's mood plummeted. She had a bad feeling, but couldn't recall what would happen next in the plot. Forget it, there's no use thinking about it. The plot has long deviated from the original. In her mind, she regarded Shen Wu as a demon. Sigh, if I hadn't saved the villain back then, things wouldn't be this chaotic now. He's a walking disaster. Thinking about the future, everything seemed bleak. I have to heal the male lead quickly, otherwise I'll be suspected of ulterior motives. Or I have to find a way to prevent him from leveling up too fast, or else I'll die even more tragically than in the original plot. She quietly slipped into Zhao Shuni's room and said awkwardly, "Senior brother Zhao, excuse me, I'm here to change your dressing." Before she could finish speaking, she was startled by something. A loud bang erupted, and she instinctively took a defensive stance. What is this? It's demonic energy. Based on the current situation, she guessed that Zhao Shuni was about to break through. Leveling up was no small matter. Whether for the demon race or the cultivation world, breakthroughs were crucial. Success meant increased cultivation and abilities. But there were also many risks. Failure could lead to a decrease in cultivation or even becoming crippled. The demonic energy grew denser, and she frowned, shielding herself. Zhao Shuni and that demonic creature are one. Why such a strong reaction? He should be absorbing the other's cultivation, but he can't control it for the moment, so there's a rejection reaction. That's why he's rushing to break through. Facing the dense demonic energy, she was extremely worried. This is bad. I can't see anything but demonic energy now. Suddenly, crying could be heard, as if someone was sobbing. The crying grew louder, attracting Ling Dao's attention. Crying. She looked around the room, searching for the source of the sound. Zhao Shuni, are you awake? The crying continued. Wah wah. The demonic energy gradually dissipated. The demonic energy is gone. Following the sound of crying, Ling Dao furrowed her brows in shock. What? She looked at the bed, speechless. Lying on the bed was a miniature version of Shuni. The little guy's face was streaked with tears, his eyes wide open. Mama, is that you? Zhao Shuni cried out Mama with teary eyes and ran to hug Ling Dao, who had just entered. You're finally back, Mama. Ling Dao was startled, her heart pounding. Oh no, did I break him? Why is he calling me Mama? Zhao Shuni sobbed, Mama, don't leave me, okay? I'll be good. I promise I'll be good. Ling Dao held Zhao Shuani, her mind racing. Manga, what's going on? Why have my clothes changed too? She was terrified. Although she didn't know what had happened, she had a bad feeling. Should I run now? At that moment, a pink light converged in front of Ling Dao. It's too late. What is this? In the illusion created by the pink light, Zhao Shuani was in tears. Papa threw me into the river. He struggled and cried in the water. I can't breathe, and you still call me useless. She saw a man standing coldly on the cliff, his voice filled with hurt. Father just stood there and watched. I'm so scared. Zhao Shuani was entangled by demons in the river, his innocent eyes filled with tears. The water is so cold. There's so many hands pulling me down. Ling Dao was stunned. That's terrifying. Although the demon lord is a tyrant in the novel, unpredictable, I didn't expect him to be so cruel to his own son. Zhao Shuani's weak voice echoed in her ears. I'm so scared. Mama, don't leave me. Looking at the pitiful child, she thought I understand. This is the world of childhood trauma that Zhao Shuani must face when leveling up. This is bad. Ling Dao felt helpless. Only by resolving his inner demons can he break through. Zhao Shuani is at a critical juncture in his leveling up. He has the protagonist's halo, but I don't. If the barrier loses control, I'll be the one who suffers the most. Images of her own gruesome death flashed through her mind, sending chills down her spine. I really can't get close to the protagonist. It was just bad luck. Besides that, Ling Dao was also curious about what this little devil's heart knot was. The author didn't describe Zhao Shuani's childhood in detail, and the causes of heart knots were complex, like psychological shadows. Everyone cared about different things. She thought about this as she gently patted the sobbing Zhao Shuani. In her arms, Zhao Shuani choked out. When mother was taken away, she cried. It made me feel so bad. I don't want to see mother cry. Ling Dao suddenly noticed a detail taken away. She reviewed the original plot in her mind. From other people's perspectives, Zhao Shuani's mother was of noble birth, arrogant, and paranoid. Her favorite pastime was tormenting the demon lord's concubines, who always endured it submissively day after day. Later, the demon lord grew tired of her and found an excuse to send her to Baishao Mountain, the most dangerous place in the demon realm. She pleaded desperately because Baishao Mountain was actually a mass grave, shrouded in wandering souls and demonic energy. Even demons didn't dare approach that mountain. Because of this, Zhao Shuani was abandoned by the demon lord and his personality became eccentric. He caused chaos in the demon palace, making everyone's lives a living hell. When he grew up, he went to Xinjiang Sword Sect as a spy. Although he intended to cultivate, it was more to spite the old demon lord. Ling Dao thought to herself, could his heart not be his mother being taken away by the old demon lord? How can I resolve this? After a while, Zhao Shuani finally fell asleep. She breathed a sigh of relief. This child is finally asleep. I have to go out and see what's happening. Suddenly, a pair of men's feet appeared from the side. Ling Dao tiptoed out and bumped right into the man. She looked at the masked man in a panic. Who is this? Could it be the demon lord? Ling Dao stammered, Who husband? Is there something wrong so late? Are you angry that I didn't return to the Rakshasa palace? Why is the demon lord here? You even threw your own son into the river. Are you going to be violent with me now? The masked man reached out and grabbed Ling Dao's neck. You know I'm angry, and you still dare to talk back. He leaned closer, his voice threatening. Tell me, how do you want to die? Her heart leaped in her throat. Ling Dao trembled, grasping the tightening arm, and carefully said, Who husband? Don't talk about death. It's too frightening. In her mind, she screamed for help. Is he really going to kill me? The masked man suddenly froze, releasing Ling Dao's neck and pulling her into his arms, dodging the purple light spreading through the room. Ling Dao screamed. Zhao Shuani, who had woken up at some point, shouted angrily, his eyes glowing purple. How dare you hurt my mother? Seeing this, Ling Dao was secretly impressed. So powerful. She calmed down and looked around. Although she knew everything here changed according to Zhao Shuani's will, she didn't expect him to be this strong. But as she got closer to the man, Ling Dao couldn't help but tremble. The demon lord actually saved me. What is he? The masked man suddenly sneered. TSK can't even handle something this small. He He freed one hand to remove his mask, his tone gentle. It was just changing medicine. Was there a need for such a commotion? How much longer until you recover? Seeing his face, Ling Dao froze and softly called out, "Senior brother." The night was like water. The moonlight hung high, but Ling Dao was full of resentment, cursing inwardly. So he's not Zhao Shunyi's father. He's trapped in Zhao Shunyi's heart demon, just like me. Shen Wu, this petty madman. But I can't offend him directly. She frowned. I don't need to explain the current situation, do I, senior brother? Shen Wu replied, "You're a doctor. How could such an accident happen? Shouldn't you give me a reasonable explanation?" Ling Dao suddenly changed the subject. We'll talk about that later. The most important thing now is to break the barrier. If senior brother Zhao's mind collapses, we'll both die. He immediately asked, "Then how do you want me to cooperate?" She continued, "I came in earlier and saw some paintings. They depicted events from senior brother Zhao's childhood. His parents' relationship doesn't seem to have been good. I think this is his heart knot. What we need to do is heal senior brother Zhao's childhood. So we have to play our roles well, act like a loving couple, and make up for senior brother Zhao's regrets." Shen Wu smiled slyly. "Oh, how loving do you want to be?" "More loving," Ling Dao blurted out. "Of course, the more loving the better. Are you even a man?" Shen Wu, as if struck by a sore spot, darkened his face and roared angrily. "Come here." Ling Dao shrank her neck and stammered, "I was just giving an example." "Help!" The lights outside the eaves flickered faintly. Inside the room, Zhao Shunyi nestled tearfully in Ling Dao's arms, murmuring mother. She comforted him softly, "Don't be afraid. Your father is just teasing you. He came especially to see you." Shen Wu's face stiffened, and Zhao Shunyi cried even harder. Ling Dao said gently, "He actually cares about you a lot." Then she whispered in his ear, "Don't even think about running. You scared him. Come and comfort him." Shen Wu circulated his spiritual energy, a golden pillar of light coalescing in his palm. "Fine," he said. "I'll definitely let him experience what a father's love is like a mountain means." Zhao Shunyi trembled, hiding behind Ling Dao. She smiled brightly, grasping the hand, radiating spiritual energy. "Haha, husband, you're so powerful. But I don't like the wind. Could you change it to something else?" The spiritual energy in Shen Wu's palm instantly dissipated. He panicked slightly. My spiritual energy is being suppressed by him. Shen Wu quickly raised his voice, "Stay away from me." Ling Dao hugged him, speaking softly, "Senior brother, you're being too much. He's still your junior brother. Don't be so heartless." She leaned close to Shen Wu's ear and whispered, "You're treating him like an imaginary enemy, so naturally your spiritual energy is weaker. Right now, my spiritual energy is stronger than yours." Her voice sounded again by his ear, "Don't be impulsive, okay?" Shen Wu was so angry he couldn't speak, only managing a muffled grunt. Ling Dao raised a hand in a silencing gesture, gently pressing a finger to his lips. "Don't speak," she whispered. Shen Wu clenched his jaw, his ears turning red. He stammered, "Why you?" Seeing this, Ling Dao broke out in a cold sweat, thinking, why is this person suddenly so agitated? Shen Wu's face flushed crimson, his arms crossed over his chest. "Why, you're too presumptuous. What trick are you playing now?" Ling Dao collapsed to the ground in fright, her heart screaming in alarm. "The villain has a cheat, but I have nothing. He's terrifying when he's angry. If the male lead gets scared silly, won't I be the one in trouble?" Her thoughts were miles away. What am I so proud of? If I leave the dream like this, won't I be eaten alive? Poor Ling Dao hurriedly kowtowed, stammering, "I was just joking to lighten the mood." "Senior brother, please be magnanimous and don't be angry." Suddenly, a small hand timidly grabbed Shen Wu's sleeve and called out, "Father." Zhao Shunyi looked up at him, tears in his eyes. "I know I was wrong, Father. Please don't send Mother away. I'll work hard and won't disappoint you again." Shen Wu's eyes turned cold. "You know you were wrong. Then do you know why we're here?" Ling Dao quickly interjected, "It's because we all care about you, love you very much." Shen Wu frowned. "Oomph." She smiled wryly, cursing inwardly. Does this guy even want to get out of here? He's still acting all high and mighty. Ling Dao turned to comfort the crying Zhao Shunyi, speaking softly, "Yes, you must remember, it's not wrong to want your father's approval. But before that, Mother wants you to figure out what you truly want." She encouraged him, "Understanding yourself is the most important thing." Zhao Shunyi clenched his fists against his chest, his childish face serious. Yes, mother, I understand. Shen Wu thought to himself. Not only did junior brother Zhao pay a high price for treatment, he even proactively acknowledged a mother. This woman is actually coaxing him like a child, even hugging him. How absurd. He interrupted the atmosphere. Such a small matter, and he still remembers it after more than 10 years. Is it worth crying so loudly and even involving his fellow disciples? Ling Dao muttered inwardly. The villain is throwing a tantrum again. She lowered her voice. Hey, senior brother Shen Wu, don't be angry. We're pretty sure his heart, not is the two of us. I think as long as we get along well, we can leave soon. Let's think of a solution together, okay? Hearing this, he suddenly fell silent. Shen Wu then put his arm around her shoulders. All right, let's go. It's late. You should come back with me to rest. Ling Dao hesitated. Go where? Shen Wu replied without hesitation. Back to my room, of course. He pulled Ling Dao into his arms, lowering his voice. What's wrong? Aren't we supposed to put on an act for him? Let's go out and discuss our strategy. Ling Dao's cheeks flushed. But you're too close. Seeing the two embracing intimately, young Shuani's eyes lit up. Daddy, Mommy, are you going to sleep together? Have you made up? The two adults exchanged glances. Ling Dao forced a smile. Yes, we made up a long time ago. Of course we're going to sleep together and never be apart again. She sat down and patted Zhao Shuani's head. You be a good boy and go to sleep, okay? Don't worry us. He nodded happily. Okay. In the night sky, the crescent moon hung high. The two sat in a room, discussing in low voices. Shen Wu began. We have to leave before dawn, or we'll die here. Ling Dao continued. It's currently the second quarter of the ugly hour. We have 2 hours until dawn. She pointed at the display panel and began analyzing their plan. This dream realm only has less than 2 days left. It won't be easy to unravel Shuni's heart knot. Shen Wu interrupted so quickly. Since discussing it now won't yield any results, it's better to rest and talk tomorrow. Ling Dao froze, then realized she had been alone in a room with the villain for so long. She felt a sense of danger and needed to find a chance to slip away. She started making excuses to leave. You're right. Even though this is a dream, I can't stand this endless night. I won't bother you anymore, senior brother. I'll go find a room outside. Before she could finish, a golden rope flew over and tied around her arm. She turned around and cautiously said, Senior brother, Shen Wu. Shen Wu gave a sinister chuckle, still making up stories. With that, he yanked the rope hard. Ling Dao struggled desperately to break free. Shen Wu slowly approached, his tone sly. Wife, it's so late, where are you going? Ling Dao panicked. He continued, Wife, why are you going back on your word? Didn't we agree to sleep together? Ling Dao stammered, that was just to coax the child. His hand gently lifted her chin, and Ling Dao's heart pounded. Not good. But just then, Shen Wu scoffed. Aren't you the best at charm spells? He pulled Ling Dao tightly into his arms. Tonight, I'll do whatever you want, okay? Ling Dao was confused. Wait, what charm spells? What wish? She was on the verge of tears. Besides the cleansing heart mantra, I don't know anything. Ling Dao struggled in his strong embrace, stammering in protest. Senior brother, you can't do this. Ling Dao was too ashamed to look at Shen Wu. Though incredibly embarrassed, she forced herself to say, This is senior brother Zhao Shuni's heart demon. If I, his wife, die, you'll definitely die too. He retorted playfully, Oh, are you sure? Want to try it? Suddenly, a commotion came from outside. Shen Wu immediately regained his serious expression and ordered, Come out with me and take a look. Ling Dao quickly agreed. Okay. Thunder rumbled, and a roar came from the purple vortex. Shameless woman, return my demon core. Ling Dao froze. What is this? The giant serpent roared at the sky. Otherwise, it frantically expanded its domain. You'll all stay here. Shen Wu frowned. An S-rank demonic beast escaped from the gloom-like cave. We found a reason. Zhao Shuni stole this beast's demon core, and the demonic energy seeped into his spiritual ring, creating this illusion. Only by defeating it can we get out. Ling Dao wiped her tears. Could I be wrong? Is the way to break the illusion not related to senior brother Zhao's heart knot? But she cursed inwardly. Damn it, I must have gotten something in my eye. Shen Wu explained, It's related, but not entirely. The demonic beast used Zhao Shuni's emotions to construct the illusion. If his resentment spirals out of control and his mind collapses, the consequences will be dire. The giant serpent's blood-red eyes raged. You're the one who stole my demon core. The giant serpent's other head opened its maw, revealing its fangs, and threatened fiercely. You're all going to die. Ling Dao cried, even harder. Senior brother, this. What do we do now? Before she could finish, Ling Dao stopped abruptly because the person beside her had disappeared. He went where? Shen Wu was already standing on the roof. She shouted, hey. Shen Wu glanced back at her, his cold and arrogant attitude making Ling Dao stamp her feet in anger. Senior brother, are you just going to leave me here? She pointed at Shen Wu. Hey, little snake, it's no use killing me. I'll tell you the truth, the demon core is on him. Facing the demonic beast's aura, Ling Dao trembled all over. So don't kill me. The giant serpent snorted. Are you his Dao companion? Good, then I'll kill you first. She shuddered. I have nothing to do with him. Why are you grabbing me? If you have the guts, go kill him. The giant serpent calmly replied. Save those words for the king of hell. Ling Dao screamed in terror. Then, forgetting her image, she cursed, Shen Wu, you heartless bastard. Leaving me to die, you ungrateful wolf. The rope binding Ling Dao's hands suddenly snapped, and she cried out in surprise. The giant serpent struggled in pain as it was restrained. Ugh, why is my body shrinking? Ling Dao seemed to realize something. This is a formation. At that moment, Shen Wu flew down from the roof. She called out in a daze, Senior brother. His tone was urgent. Six-headed serpent, I've sealed your power. It's not too late to surrender now. Ling Dao was bewildered. When did he set up the formation? The giant serpent burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha. It sneered, trying to sow discord. He used her as bait. I really underestimated you. You don't care about your Dao companion's life at all. Ling Dao was also annoyed. I knew it. This is infuriating. She cursed inwardly. I've been completely used by him. Shen Wu looked at Ling Dao with a puzzled expression. Dao companion. He turned his head and glared at her. Ling Dao, startled, stammered like she'd been caught red-handed. Senior brother, what's wrong? He questioned her. Were you just cursing me? Ling Dao immediately denied it. How could I? She turned to the giant serpent and rattled on. I already said I'm not his Dao companion. Stop trying to sow discord. This is all part of our plan. If I didn't pretend to be easy to bully, how would you have fallen for it? Then she turned back to Shen Wu and flattered him. Senior brother is so amazing. I knew you would save me. Hurry up and capture it, and we can leave this place. But in reality, she sighed inwardly. Sigh, I can't afford to offend him. Shen Wu flicked Ling Dao's forehead. Ling Dao cried out in pain now. He then said sternly, do you understand now? You dare to provoke Zhao Xuanyi and make him obstruct my power. In the end, you're the only one who suffers. Ling Dao nodded repeatedly. Understood, understood. At this moment, the giant serpent spoke, making them both alert again. Oh, you still have the mood to flirt here. Do you really think you can trap me? Although it hadn't fully returned to its original form, its voice was still strong. I'll spare you for now. Anyway, it's almost dawn. None of you can escape. You're all going to die. Ling Dao sighed. Damn it, this formation can't trap it. She wisely turned to the only person she could rely on, Senior brother. What do we do now? Shen Wu calmly replied. This demonic beast is not easy to deal with. It's likely to target you again, avoiding me and focusing on you as the weaker one. Ling Dao, now completely powerless, was so angry she couldn't speak, yet she couldn't refute him. He then took out a talisman and said solemnly, however, there is a way to strengthen you. This is an illusion, and it can be used. I'll teach you an incantation. Repeat after me. I'll only say it once, so listen carefully. Shen Wu immediately recited, Heavenly thunder drives away evil. The 9 heavens heed my command, borrowing the power of heaven and earth, weaken its might. Ling Dao silently repeated, Heavenly thunder drives away evil. The 9 heavens heed my command, borrowing the power of heaven and earth, weaken its might. A golden light appeared in her palm. Wow, I learned it. As expected of an illusion technique, it's so convenient. Shen Wu patted her head and reminded her, don't get carried away. Try not to hold me back. She replied, I know, Senior brother. Looking at his tall back and slightly reddened ears, Ling Dao thought to herself, he's actually worried about me. A new day arrived, and warm sunlight filled the earth. Ling Dao curled up in a ball under the covers. It's already dawn. After discussing with Shen Wu last night, they decided to split up. He's probably already gone to find the serpent. The whereabouts of the god. She sighed inwardly. He not only taught me the incantation last night, but also gave me the bed. Maybe I really misunderstood him before. Tangled in her thoughts, Ling Dao resolutely decided, forget it, I won't think about it anymore. There's still an hour before sunrise. I have to hurry up and find a way out to look for new clues. At this moment, a soft voice called out, Mommy, Mommy. Ling Dao gently asked. Shuni, what's wrong? Zhao Shuni said, Mommy, I want to go to the human realm to play. Will you come with me? She thought to herself, this is my chance. Suddenly, a woman appeared from the void and respectfully bowed, Madam. It turned out to be Consort Shun, one of the demon lord's concubines. She said softly, I came to pay my respects to Madam. Ling Dao was a little surprised. There's no need for formalities. Behind her, Consort Shun reminded the child behind her, Huaner, come and greet Madam. The child shyly poked his head out, clutching Consort Chin's sleeve tightly. Hello, Madam. Ling Dao's heart skipped a beat as she connected Huaner, Shuani, and Huan in her mind. So this child is the male lead's half-brother. His mother was just an ordinary person, so she was always out of favor. When he was 7, his mother died unexpectedly, and the demon lord completely abandoned him, leaving him to live a hellish life. Little Shuni shouted, Brother, let's go play together. Huaner flinched. Ling Dao thought to herself, why would the male lead remember these things? What exactly do Consort Chen and Little Chuan Huan have to do with his heart knot? At this moment, Little Shuni held a small red ball in his hand and softly said, Brother, want to play? Zhao Chuan Huan stared blankly at the ball, his face already flushed with excitement, but he still didn't dare to let go and play. He tugged on his mother's sleeve and whispered, Mother, Mother. Consort Chin smiled lovingly. Go ahead and play. Looking at the heartwarming scene before her, Ling Dao couldn't help but wonder, strange, were they so close when they were young? In the novel, Zhao Chunhuan even framed his younger brother several times, and the male and female leads broke up because of Zhao Chunhuan's instigation. Consort Chin seized the opportunity to speak. Madam, there's something I'd like to ask for your help with. Ling Dao hesitated for a moment. What is it? Consort Chin continued. I heard you're going to the human realm to play. Huana has always wanted to go, but I don't have spiritual power and can't leave the demon realm's barrier. Ling Dao pondered. Consort Chun was a pitiful woman. A beauty in her youth, she had been taken by force by the demon lord during his travels in the human realm and made his concubine. While it deviated from the novel's plot, Zhao Shuni's emotional blockage was likely related to this trip to the human realm. Should she go and see? After much deliberation, she cheerfully agreed. All right, let him accompany you. Consort Chin smiled politely. Thank you, madam, for your help. But a hint of worry lingered in her expression. It's good for children to go out and play. Madam may not know, but after you left, Shuni often sneaked off to Shisha Palace. Please comfort him more. Ling Dao gave an awkward laugh, sighing inwardly. No wonder Zhao Chunhuan's mentality was so twisted. With Zhao Shuni away from the demon realm, the demon lord and that villainous senior brother seemed quite well matched. Consort Chin continued. However, ever since Madam returned from Longevity Mountain, the demon lord seems to have changed. She leaned closer to Ling Dao and whispered, Madam must hold a special place in the demon lord's heart. Ling Dao felt a sudden panic. Was it true? Is it true? The image of last night's passionate embrace flashed through her mind. The moment the thought arose, a chill ran down Ling Dao's spine. The street outside was bustling with noise. Come and see, come and see. Two children were playing happily with a puppy. So cute. Your eyes are just like your brother's. I don't look like a dog. Ling Dao couldn't help but chuckle at the children's innocence. Thinking of the future, a sense of melancholy washed over her. Who would have thought these two little ones would become sworn enemies, fighting to the death? The children's voices rang out again. Same, not same. Ling Dao grew increasingly irritated. Had Shen Wu found that demon yet? It hadn't even been half an hour. Where was that serpent hiding? Just then, a hand gently tucked a flower into her hair. Ling Dao turned her head and whispered, Ah, senior brother, you're back. Shen Wu reported directly, I haven't made any progress. I still don't know where that demon is hiding. What about you? Ling Dao stammered, I haven't either. Then what do we do? Are we really going to be trapped here? Zhao Shuni chimed in, Daddy, you're here too. Are you looking for Mommy? Shen Wu replied vaguely, something like that. He muttered under his breath, Where did this one come from? Zhao Chunhuan greeted him shyly. Hello, D-Daddy. Zhao Shuni exclaimed excitedly, Great. Daddy, let's go for a walk. He excitedly tugged at Ling Dao's sleeve. I was just thinking of going somewhere. Let's go, let's go. She reminded him, Slow down, don't fall. Outside, a street vendor hawked enthusiastically, Get your Harmony Stone bracelets. Harmony Stones symbolize hearts united, flying wing to wing, branches intertwined, never to be parted. Zhao Shuni promptly held up 2 fingers, beaming. I want 2. He returned with the bracelets, proudly displaying them. Daddy, these are for you and Mommy. You must always be this happy. Shen Wu looked impatient. Huh, I thought you were going to take me somewhere important. This is it. Ling Dao, caught between laughter and exasperation, tried to appease both Shen Wu and Zhao Shuni. Senior brother, don't be angry. How about we forget about it? But Zhao Shuni looked frightened. Daddy is scary. He sobbed. Are you going to separate again? Were you lying to me? Ling Dao paled, guilt flooding her. She could only turn to Shen Wu for help. She clasped her hands together. Please, senior brother, you know we don't have much time. Just cooperate. Shen Wu turned his face away like a child. In the end, the two Harmony Stone bracelets were placed on their wrists. Walking silently under the setting sun, Ling Dao finally broke the awkward silence. Ahem, senior brother, it's getting dark in the secret realm. What should we do next? Shen Wu said coldly. Perhaps the demon is within Shuni. Otherwise, we'll just keep following him. Up ahead, Zhao Shuni waved and shouted, Mommy, let's go release lotus lanterns in front of the wooden house. Ling Dao murmured, They say if you make a wish and release a lantern on the water, your wish will come true. Shen Wu leaned down slightly, shielding her from the crowd and taking the opportunity to speak to her. As she gently set a lotus lantern afloat, Ling Dao said, Your wish will come true. Shen Wu, unconvinced, interrupted her reverie. I don't believe in those things. Ling Dao rested her chin on her hand, a bright smile on her face. Then guess what I wished for? Unable to guess, he asked, What did you wish for? Ling Dao's eyes sparkled. I wish that no matter what happens, senior brother, you won't kill me. She said it half jokingly. Shen Wu fell silent for a moment after hearing her words. Hundreds of lotus lanterns drifted on the water's surface. As night fell, Zhao Shuni clung to Ling Dao's sleeve, acting spoiled. Mommy, this place is so fun. Can we time travel here again in the future? Ling Dao happily held both children's hands. Of course, we'll come often. Ling Dao ruffled Zhao Chunwan's hair and asked, Huaner, do you want to come often? He excitedly shouted, yes. Suddenly, he grabbed Ling Dao's hand, a dangerous glint in his eyes as a thick demonic aura surged from him. I want it now. Ling Dao froze, watching helplessly as her hand gradually vanished into thin air. Shen Wu barely had time to react, reaching out to grab her. Hey! Ling Dao screamed desperately for help as she disappeared completely. Ling Dao slowly opened her eyes. Ugh, my head hurts. Why does it smell like burning paper? Ah, this is a funeral hall. Standing in the cold, empty space, Ling Dao felt lost. Where's Shen Wu? Where's Zhao Shuni? What happened? The coffin opened, and she saw a woman lying inside. Panic seized her. The person in the coffin is Consort Chen. How could? A child sat nearby, burning paper money. Ling Dao softly called out, Huaner. She hurried over, wanting to understand what had happened. Huaner, what's wrong? He suddenly shouted, Get out. Zhao Chunwan's eyes widened with alarm. Get out, all of you get out. I don't need your pity. Ashes scattered in the wind, stirring up a past tragedy. The cultivation world had once joined forces to attack the demon palace, led by Consort Chen's childhood sweetheart. Sword light flickered amidst the dying flames. The ruthless demon lord controlled her mind, forcing her to kill her former love who had come to take her home. After Consort Chen regained her senses, unable to accept what she had done, she plotted to assassinate the demon lord, but ultimately died fighting. Zhao Chunhuan wept beside his mother's cold body. Born of humble origins, he could only resign himself to fate, living in the cold palace with an old servant, suffering from hunger and cold, and bullied by the palace staff. Later, the old servant also died. Ling Dao's chest tightened. Some people spend their entire lives healing the wounds of their childhood. Was Zhao Shuni pitying his younger brother? No, he hated his own powerlessness. She sadly picked up the ashes. If she could choose, she wouldn't want to be Zhao Shuni's enemy, nor would she want him to hate her. Ling Dao would be imprisoned in Longevity Mountain, where there were 10,000 demons. Zhao Shuni would be corrupted by the demon lord through vicious and forceful means. Consort Chen would die, and Zhao Chunhuan would have a miserable childhood, rejected by everyone, eventually becoming the opponent Zhao Shuni both hated and pitted. Ling Dao bit her lip, moved. Zhao Chunhuan's childhood trauma couldn't be resolved. It was him, her. Lost in thought, she suddenly heard a voice. Ling Dao, Ling Dao. She exclaimed in surprise. Was it Shen Wu? The voice urged again, Ling Dao, it's almost dawn. Hurry up. She became even more confused. Hurry up and do what? There's nothing here. Where are you? The voice asked again, who's beside you? Ling Dao answered truthfully. Zhao Shuni. The voice said decisively, kill him. Ling Dao's face paled, and she shouted, are you crazy? The voice grew agitated. He's just a wisp of demonic energy born from this world. You don't actually pity him, do you? You've also discovered that Zhao Xuanyi isn't Zhao Chunhuan. Only by killing him can we leave this place. You're currently using Ling Dao's body. Your spiritual power isn't low. Hurry up and do it, there's no time. Ling Dao froze, still hesitant. Even if the Zhao Chunhuan before her wasn't real, the voice had lost its patience. What's wrong with you? Troubling yourself over a ghost. Ridiculous, she retorted. What's real and what's fake? Is now the time to argue about this. Ling Dao grew more resolute. Shen Wu, our values are different. I won't kill this child, and I won't kill anyone. The voice raged. Fine, you little demoness, you have guts. At this moment, Ling Dao clutched her head in pain. She finally realized that this voice was the demonic thought within Zhao Shunyi's mind, not Shen Wu. If she had believed him just now. A giant snake appeared, chuckling sinisterly. Hee, so what if you don't do it? By possessing this brat's body, I can still be reborn. It opened its massive jaws and lunged towards its target. Ling Dao shielded Zhao Chunhuan, simultaneously forming hand seals and casting spell. Lightning strike talisman. Caught off guard, the giant snake was struck head-on and roared in pain. Arg! Another voice called out, Ling Dao. She exclaimed joyfully, Senior brother. Shen Wu said gently, greed is born from resentment. It wanted to provoke you into killing junior brother Zhao, so it could seize his body. You did well. Thanks to you breaking its barrier, I was able to enter. Ling Dao said worriedly, but the snake isn't dead yet. What do we do? The giant snake roared, Arg, you little brat, ruining my plans time and time again. The sun outside is about to rise. I will win sooner or later, ha ha ha. Shen Wu suddenly struck out with his palm. Don't even think about escaping. Thunder. Thunder rumbled, and lightning struck the ground. The light was blinding, and everyone momentarily couldn't open their eyes. Ling Dao suddenly woke up. She choked out, Senior brother, eldest senior brother. Shen Wu responded softly from beside her. I'm here. He crossed his arms, his expression relaxed and carefree. Ling Dao ran towards him excitedly. Senior brother. She clung to Shen Wu. You scared me to death. I really thought I was going to die just now, you know? Wah, I finally survived. Shen Wu awkwardly pushed her away. Stand up straight. Have some decorum. Why are you always hugging me? Ling Dao was still dazed, completely oblivious, and moved closer to Shen Wu, wanting to speak. Senior brother, a day as husband and wife means 100 days of affection, and we even went through life and death together. I hope you can be more tolerant of me in the future. Hearing this, Shen Wu's heart stirred. Husband and wife. He was about to scold Ling Dao, but she started acting coquettishly. All right. Shen Wu pinched her face. Do you want a beating? If you dare to tell anyone what happened in the secret realm, you know the consequences. Ling Dao grimaced in pain. I know. After Shen Wu turned and left, she muttered softly, Humph, I thought our relationship would be better. Cold-blooded jerk. My face hurts from your pinching. Wah. In another room, Meng Tianshu walked in and asked, how is it? Is Xuanyi all right? Ling Dao readily replied, his spiritual power is abundant, completely different from last night. It seems senior brother, Zhao, has successfully broken through. She thought to herself, worthy of being the male lead. Absorbed someone else's demon core and leveled up, one in the secret realm, truly the child of destiny. Ling Dao also took the opportunity to instruct Shiji. Before senior brother Zhao's spiritual power stabilizes, there are some things to pay attention to. Meanwhile, Shen Wu was still lost in thought. How should I treat her? Meng Tianshu called out to him, pulling him back from his thoughts. Senior brother. Shen Wu responded reluctantly. What is it? Meng Tianshu then flattered him. Fortunately, senior brother was there. Otherwise, Xuanyi's scratching and biting would have been even worse. Shen Wu felt inexplicably irritated. Is that so? I think he's quite capable. After saying that, Shen Wu decisively turned and left. Junior disciple Ling can handle things here. I'm leaving. She still wanted to stop him. Senior brother. Ling Dao watched him leave awkwardly. Shen Wu knew that Xuanyi had swallowed the demon core and entered his secret realm. Doesn't this mean Xuanyi's demon lord identity has been exposed? A moment later, Zhao Xuanyi woke up and coughed lightly. Cough, divine doctor, you know my identity now, right? Ling Dao panicked. You're not going to kill me to silence me, are you? Seeing her reaction, he couldn't help but smile wryly. Divine doctor, don't tease me. I just want to ask you for a favor. He calmly explained. On the night of the Lantern Festival, our family of four celebrated the festival together. Back then, the demon realm was still peaceful until the cultivation world attacked the demon palace and stole something. Upon hearing this, Ling Dao thought, isn't he talking about the soul-devouring lotus? That spiritual treasure later fell into Shen Wu's hands, helping him on the path of corruption. That mysterious flower is the soul-devouring lotus, originally an object of purification and regeneration. Unfortunately, its possessor had malicious intentions, using it to absorb evil thoughts and transform them into sinister divine power. It was revered as a supreme treasure in the demon realm, an artifact from ancient times. It fed on the evil thoughts of the entire demon realm, releasing demonic energy. Demon cultivators used the sinister energy it released to cultivate, accelerating their cultivation growth. It was an existence that severely disrupted the order of the three realms. 500 years ago, the righteous path gathered experts and attacked the demon palace, severely injuring the demon lord and seizing the soul-devouring lotus, sealing it at all costs. Shuani continued, the reason I joined the True Yang Sword sect was to search for it. According to my investigation, this spiritual treasure is likely near your four symbols heaven. Ling Dao interrupted, so, senior brother Zhao isn't just telling me a story. Seeing that she understood, Zhao Shuani directly stated his intentions. I need to confirm whether it's from the demon palace. If it is, I must take it back. Can you help me keep an eye out for this spiritual treasure? Ling Dao waved her hands repeatedly. Sorry, I'm busy. At this moment, Meng Tianshu walked in with a tray, smiling. Shuani, are you hungry? I made fish porridge, come and try it. She enthusiastically invited Ling Dao, junior disciple Ling. Don't leave yet, let's eat together. Ling Dao quickly declined. No, don't disturb senior brother Zhao's meal. Remember to give him his medicine after he eats. On Heaven's Revelation Peak, the tall building was brightly lit. Shen Wu was playing a game of Go with another person. He began, Master, I have always followed your teachings. Shen Wu frowned, expressing his troubles. Without joy or sorrow, without desires or pursuits, but recently my mind has been restless. Is there any solution? Meng Hongshun, the sect master of the True Yang Sword sect, sighed worriedly. Could it be related to that little demon you mentioned? Both of them fell silent. Meng Hongshun rubbed his forehead, saying wearily, sigh, it must be that old dog Lu Yongdao who's behind this. He said this could test a cultivator's character and willpower. You, a once-in-a-millennium genius. He'd rather damage his own cultivation than use that forbidden ancient artifact against you. He's quite thoughtful. Shen Wu responded with a gloomy expression. Meng Hongshun encouraged him, saying, you've already cultivated to this realm at such a young age. You're bound to become a top-tier genius in the future. I used a forbidden technique to destroy your capacity for romantic love. If you can maintain your Tao heart and successfully pass this trial, you will surely ascend to the supreme realm. He cleared his throat and continued, ahem. The trigger for this forbidden technique is when the affected person encounters their destined one and makes physical contact. At that time, they will be unable to control their desires. Seeing that Shen Wu was still wearing gloves, Hongshin added, the reason you always wear gloves is to avoid contact with others. As long as there's no contact, you won't develop desires for them. Hearing this, Shen Wu pondered, so she's my destined one. Meng Hongshan smiled slyly. Stroking his beard, he thought to himself, desire is not a good thing for a cultivator of the emotionless Tao. A few days later, in the pharmacy, the junior disciple held a basket of medicinal herbs, looking bewildered. What are all these for? Ling Dao picked up a medicine bottle from the table. Pain relief medication. I refined it myself. I gathered a bunch of spiritual herbs in the Mingguang cave last time, and they're finally coming in handy. While I go down the mountain, I'll definitely ask him for more. In her memory, someone waved a letter in front of Ling Dao. My good disciple. Mu Huaicho said with a smile, the Wushang Temple is holding a grand ceremony soon, and the sect master plans to send someone to maintain order. You can earn 100 spirit stones for it. Ling Dao's eyes lit up. When do we leave? Back in the present, the junior disciple panicked. What? I heard this mission is very dangerous. Why are they sending you? Ling Dao looked unconcerned. Dangerous. I just want to go see the excitement. What could happen? The junior disciple grew increasingly frightened, imagining various crime scenes. At the Wushang Temple, A few days ago, someone found 2 monks lying on the ground while cleaning. They went to check and found they had been brutally murdered. Now, the more I think about it, the more terrifying it becomes. And to get to Wushang Temple, you have to pass through Xuanshui City. I heard there's a monster there that specifically kidnaps young women. He was practically trembling. It's too scary. Don't joke about it. Be careful what you wish for. Ling Dao comforted him. Don't worry. With that guy around, no one will notice us. But the junior disciple still didn't believe her. Better safe than sorry. A few days ago, that always ascetic sect master ancestor actually had someone call him over. She even asked, is there anything that can't be avoided? She kept pressing, what kind of person is senior brother exactly? My heart can't take it. Why is he always around me? That glutton is clearly here to steal my things. What monster could be scarier than him? Time fast-forwarded. She gasped. Why are you all here? Standing in front of her were 3 people she never expected to see. Meng Tianshu looked a little embarrassed. Didn't Marshal Uncle Mu tell you we were going together? The person next to her chimed in. Seems like he really isn't very attentive. Ling Dao just wanted to run away. My greedy master wants to earn more money, ugh. I want to go home. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mu Huaicho looked smug. Ling Dao has probably already left. The danger at Wushang Temple is just a minor matter. I just want her to gain some experience. Where else in the world is there such a good master as me? Shen Wu is there, so there's no need to worry about safety. Ling Dao was desperately trying to find an excuse. Does any senior brother or sister need me? This junior sister will go home now. Before she could finish, someone interrupted her. All right, let's go. Tianshu anxiously tugged on Zhao Shuni's arm. Shuni, look how unhappy junior sister is. He comforted her with a smile. She's just putting on an act. She actually really wants to see senior brother. As soon as he pulled her away, they were gone. The two were completely absorbed in each other, ignoring Ling Dao's desperate cries. No. At the edge of the forest, Ling Dao shouted hoarsely, are we really going to fly over? Can't we walk? Where are senior brother Zhao and senior sister Meng? In the silent forest, Ling Dao's cries were particularly Chizan. Shen Wu finally couldn't stand it anymore and yelled, shut up. He took Ling Dao and flew up on his sword. Don't get too close. Haven't you taken enough advantage of me already? She clung tightly to him, not even daring to open her eyes. I'm scared. What if something happens? Ignoring his reddening ears, he said coldly, the Cayenne sword is a stable and safe ancient treasure. Say another word, and I'll kick you off. Suddenly, Ling Dao noticed something. It's slowing down. She panicked even more. Why did it suddenly stop? Are we going to fall? Shen Wu roared, shut up. We're fine. The Cayenne sword flies using spirit stones. 2 people are too heavy. The spirit stones are being consumed quickly, and it won't last long. Take out your spirit stones. I didn't bring many either. She said helplessly, I didn't bring many either. The rest of my bags are full of medicine. He resigned himself to fate and said helplessly, let's go down then. We'll find a farm in Tianshui City to exchange for spirit stones and then leave. Ling Dao was startled by the sudden movement and the deafening shout that seemed to tear the sky apart. Senior brother, quick, stop it. Finally arriving at Tianshui City, Shen Wu casually contacted his companions. That's right, we're in Tianshui City now. He completely ignored Ling Dao, who was vomiting violently beside him. Ugh, it's a miracle I'm still alive. After a moment, he turned his head and said, I've sent a message for them to go ahead. You come with me. His words were interrupted by a woman's heart-wrenching cry. Doctor, please save my Debeo, my precious baby. She held what looked like a newborn baby in her arms. Doctor, didn't you say that as long as he takes the returning spirit pill, he'll be saved? Why hasn't my Debeo gotten better? The so-called doctor calmly explained, don't be so hasty. This medicine takes 24 hours to take effect. It hasn't been that long yet. The woman became even more frantic. Debeo might not last that long. What should I do? Ling Dao looked back at the old doctor, thinking, this guy's a swindler, even cheating beggars. Shen Wu was indifferent to worldly affairs. Why bother with so much? Let's go. We still have a journey ahead of us. But Ling Dao couldn't bear to see this happen. Her heart ached. I usually don't care what others do, but I really can't stand by and watch this. She stepped forward and politely said to the woman, Madam, my medical skills are not brilliant, but I know a little about herbs. May I ask what's wrong with your child? The woman looked at her with tearful eyes, holding a pitiful and aggrieved little white fox in her arms, whimpering with a small wound on its paw. Ling Dao's mind was filled with question marks. This is DeBeo. The woman pleaded tearfully, yes, doctor, please help me look at my child. Faced with this situation, she could only force a smile. Madam, don't worry. I have some spirit medicine here that specializes in treating external injuries, mainly for wounds caused by fighting. It can reduce swelling and pain, promote blood circulation, and it works very quickly. As she spoke, she dipped her finger in the medicine and gently applied it to the little white fox's wound. As soon as the medicine touched the wound, a green light enveloped the little creature, stunning everyone. She thought triumphantly, haha, it really works. I really have to thank the original author for this cheat. This medicine is simply the best spirit medicine in the world. Ling Dao picked up DeBeo with satisfaction, a bright smile on her face. All right, you're fine now. The little white fox playfully licked her face. The woman was overwhelmed with gratitude. Thank you, miss. I will never forget your kindness. She quickly helped Ling Dao up. Madam, you don't have to do this. Don't be so polite. It's just that quack. She looked back, but the quack doctor was nowhere to be seen, leaving only a sentence. See you again, if fate allows. She sighed inwardly. Looks like you ran fast enough. Having witnessed the effects of Ling Dao's spirit medicine, the crowd flocked around her, vying to buy it. Miss, how much is this medicine per box? I want 10 boxes. Move aside. I was here first. Sell it to me first. Ling Dao was covered in sweat. Everyone, please calm down. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her. All right, this charade ends here. Shen Wu continued. Come with me to the farm to exchange for spirit stones. We still have a journey ahead of us. She waved her hand. Senior brother, you like it too, don't you? I have to help everyone, so I'm afraid I can't go with you. I'll wait for you here. Don't waste my money-making time. As she turned around to maintain order, don't worry, everyone, everything has a price. A young man tried to get her attention. Young lady, look, I have 30 bottles. Shen Wu's face clearly showed displeasure. A destined one, isn't you? He ignored them. I'd better not get involved with her. Let her be. In a hidden corner of an alley, a young woman stood at a stall with a mysterious smile. Ling Dao grinned from ear to ear. Haha. She counted the money in her hand, secretly delighted. I didn't expect to sell out so quickly. Haha. Should I sneak away before Shen Wu comes back? Suddenly, a loud shout rang out. Divine Doctor is here. A young woman with pink eyes and tears rushed over, pleading urgently, please save my young mistress. I just witnessed your medical skills with my own eyes. Could you please come to our residence? Fearing Ling Dao's refusal, she quickly added, the reward is definitely not a problem, as long as you save my young mistress. Ling Dao humbly said awkwardly, I only know a little about herbs. Please get a real doctor. In her heart, she was a little worried. What if it's a difficult and complicated illness that I can't cure? The young woman suddenly grabbed her sleeve and cried, please, my young mistress is getting married the day after tomorrow. If news of her illness spreads now, it will definitely affect the marriage. You are our last hope, Wu. As she spoke, she immediately handed over 2 glistening spirit stones. This is a down payment. As long as you can cure my young mistress, we will definitely reward you handsomely. Meanwhile, Shen Wu had just received a letter. It read, I'm going to save someone. Senior brother, you go ahead. Meet me at Yuanyang Temple tonight. A playful winking emoticon was drawn at the end. After reading the letter, Shen Wu frowned in displeasure. Save someone. I think all she cares about is money. Just then, a hawker's cry interrupted his thoughts. Esteemed guests, come by a string of endless love stone bracelets. The endless love stone can bind 2 hearts together for life. Shen Wu looked towards the sound and saw a young couple laughing happily. The hawker continued, esteemed guests, these bracelets are very effective. They've been blessed by Yuanyang Temple. Wearing them will guarantee you grow old together. Buy one for your sweetheart. She'll definitely love it. A passerby commented, another girl gone missing. Another replied, who knows what kind of monster it is. Every time, it happens without a trace. Even the barrier is useless. They even invited cultivators to exorcise it, but it's still no use. The man whispered a warning. Keep your voice down. Say a few more words, and you'll be the next one taken. Shen Wu listened quietly to the passers-by's conversation, still sensing a faint fluctuation of magical power on his fingertips. He walked to a nearby stall and asked, excuse me, where did the young lady selling medicinal herbs go? The vendor turned around. Ah, her. The vendor pointed in a direction. She was just taken away by a maid from some mansion. She went that way. After receiving the reply, he said coldly, "Thank you." Somewhere, a stick of incense burned quietly, wisps of smoke curling upwards from the table. Someone's thoughts surfaced. Behind the gauze curtains, Ling Dao lay on the bed, waking up in a daze. "Where is this?" she thought. She slowly sat up, holding her head and feeling a wave of dizziness. "I remember that maid taking me into the alley," she recalled. At that moment, footsteps approached from somewhere. A mysterious person said to her, "You're awake." Hearing the unfamiliar voice, Ling Dao woke up with a start. An evil cultivator stepped forward, reached out, and touched her face, saying triumphantly, "I'm in luck today. I caught a little demon core cultivator, ha!" Ling Dao shrank back in fear. You're the person from just now. You were disguised," she stammered in fright. "Wait, demon flesh isn't tasty. I have money. I'll give it all to you, don't kill me." The person licked their lips, a dangerous glint flashing in their eyes, and sneered, "My underground palace has countless treasures. Why would I care about your little trinkets? I caught you to improve my cultivation." Hearing this, Ling Dao panicked. Could he be the villain who's been abducting women? She thought. This thought made her tremble all over. Ling Dao asked loudly, "Your cultivation isn't low. Why would you walk the evil path?" The evil cultivator condensed a heart-shaped, red, demonic energy in their hand and explained nonchalantly, The Wuxian Society's Golden Summit Dharma Assembly is about to begin, and the gate to the other world will open. It's the perfect opportunity to seize the two-direction spring. With it, my cultivation will skyrocket 1,000-fold in a single day." A bluish-white yin-yang diagram flashed in Ling Dao's mind. She thought anxiously, the two-direction spring can make spiritual herbs grow like bamboo shoots after the rain, and it can even bring the dead back to life. If I could obtain the two-direction spring, I could have an indestructible golden body. The person approached and lifted her chin. Ling Dao trembled violently in fear. The evil cultivator said slowly, the night is short. Let's not waste it." The evil cultivator grinned, threatening. "The barrier here is hidden. Your fellow disciples won't find you. I advise you to be obedient." His other hand gripped her shoulder tightly. Ling Dao trembled all over and shouted, "Get away. Let me go." Suddenly, a wave of demonic energy swept past, and the evil cultivator froze. Behind him, a mysterious figure in white walked slowly towards them. Shen Wu, his eyes filled with killing intent, held a long sword and warned coldly, "Don't touch her." The evil cultivator released his power, covered Ling Dao's mouth, and held her in his arms, sneering, "I didn't expect you to follow so quickly." Ling Dao, held tightly, whimpered in terror. The evil cultivator immediately attacked. So what? He lunged at Shen Wu, shouting, "Take this barrier." Shen Wu, unyielding, retaliated decisively. Thunder Talisman. However, his attack was blocked by the barrier, having no effect. Shen Wu froze, his eyes widening. The evil cultivator looked at his barrier and laughed triumphantly. My protective spirit bell is a top-grade spiritual treasure. No one can break this barrier." He held Ling Dao tightly, his fingers digging into the corners of her mouth, and said viciously, "I'm not only going to touch her, but I'm going to make you watch me take away what you love most. That's the greatest pleasure." Meanwhile, Ling Dao trembled, filled with regret. "What should I do? I would have rather died at Shen Wu's hands," she thought. Hearing this, Shen Wu's rage exploded, and he charged towards the evil cultivator, much to the latter's shock. Shen Wu responded coldly, "I'll say it again, her life is mine." He emphasized again, as if declaring ownership, "Only I can touch her." Shen Wu pointed directly at the evil cultivator and shouted, "Get out." As soon as his voice fell, a blade formed from spiritual energy shot towards the cultivator. Everything happened too fast. The evil cultivator had no time to react. The blade pierced directly through his chest, causing him to scream in pain. He wondered the barrier. How is that possible? His face darkened, his consciousness gradually fading. The evil cultivator quickly transformed into a pink mist, dissipating into nothingness. Shen Wu walked to the bed and impatiently lifted the bed curtains. "Try running off alone again next time." Ling Dao quickly stopped him. Don't come over here." She felt something was wrong with her body. She was trembling all over, her cheeks flushed, her breathing rapid. Ling Dao wondered what's going on. She was drenched in sweat, a heat surging through her body, making her almost cry out. "Why is my body suddenly so hot? It's so uncomfortable." Seeing her state, Shen Wu asked worriedly, "Senior Sister Ling, what's wrong?" He reached out to help her, but Ling Dao suddenly grabbed his hand. Shen Wu was startled. Ling Dao's other hand was about to caress Shen Wu's handsome face, but he stopped her. Shen Wu was a little embarrassed, his ears and cheeks burning red. Hey, snap out of it. Ling Dao thought hazily, this isn't that kind of incense. She panted, almost crying from the discomfort, pleading helplessly, Senior brother, I feel so bad. Help me. At this moment, she lost control, leaned closer to Shen Wu, and kissed his chin. Shen Wu was taken aback by her action, completely unexpected. Because of her initiative, Shen Wu didn't hesitate any longer. He turned her over and pressed her onto the bed, gently kissing her neck and shoulders. Ling Dao hadn't expected this and quickly tried to stop him. Shen Wu, don't. But his hand continued to caress her soft hair. At this moment, the two seemed to fall into a dream, slowly exchanging passionate kisses. Amidst the deep kiss, both of them made heart-racing sounds, their breaths mingling. They went even further, lost in a sweet kiss. Even so, Ling Dao still felt it wasn't enough. She looked at Shen Wu with desire in her eyes, thinking, not enough. She pushed Shen Wu down, took off his clothes, and slowly caressed his firm body, biting his collarbone as if marking her territory. But all of this was still not enough for Ling Dao. The suppressed feeling in her body still lingered. Her legs rubbed together, her whole body trembling, only one thought remaining in her mind. More. I want more. The incense burner on the table had burned out, but smoke still curled from it. After a wave of exhaustion, Ling Dao woke up in a daze. The scene before her instantly brought everything back. She was sitting on top of Shen Wu, her hands still clutching his clothes, both of their garments disheveled. Shen Wu just looked at her with a helpless and foolish expression. Ling Dao cried out, scrambling off him, hurriedly adjusting her clothes, her body still trembling from fear and the lingering afterglow. As Shen Wu dressed, he pondered, the prophecy brought about by my ability seems to be coming true. Or is it that I feel something for her? Ling Dao's mind was a mess, filled with shame, like a startled cat. Seeing Shen Wu's lack of reaction, she wondered, I just took advantage of Shen Wu. Why didn't he resist? Could it be he has feelings for me? Impossible. He's a villain. Even if Shen Wu likes someone, it wouldn't be a supporting female character like me, right? And he cultivates the path of ruthlessness. If this affects his Dao heart, will it hasten my death? She straightened her clothes, got out of bed, and prepared to leave. Shen Wu remained silent for a moment, then spoke. Let's go. Ling Dao replied as she put on her shoes. Let's go. But in her haste, she stumbled and fell. Fortunately, Shen Wu reached out and caught her in time. Shen Wu frowned and teased. Have you forgotten how to walk after spending so much time with me? Ling Dao retorted angrily. It's all the incense's fault. Seeing her unsteady on her feet, Shen Wu simply picked her up in a princess carry. Ling Dao blushed crimson, but still managed to thank him. Thank you, senior brother, for your help. How did you find me? Shen Wu recalled, the crystal mirror has a tracking function. Before we left, I attached the crystal mirror to your spiritual energy just in case. Who knew you'd be foolish enough to follow someone else? Shen Wu's tone was a little downcast. I thought I wouldn't need to use it. Ling Dao hadn't expected this and listened silently. She forced a smile and changed the subject. Although the process was a bit tortuous, we've gained quite a lot of spirit stones this time. Saying this, Ling Dao looked at the spirit stone chest and checked it. Unexpectedly, the chest was completely empty, not a single spirit stone left. Panic seized her. The spirit stones. Were my spirit stones? How could they all be gone? Shen Wu's lips curled into a smug smile. Tai Yun's sword ate them all. How else do you think you got out? Ling Dao fumed, but still clung to a sliver of hope. All of them. Suddenly, she remembered something, her face brightening. Didn't that evil cultivator say he had a treasure vault underground? Let's go see. Shen Wu dashed her hopes without hesitation. No need. I'm not short of money. Ling Dao stubbornly wriggled free from his embrace. We need to hurry. We still have a journey ahead. Shen Wu looked surprised. You know about that too. As she ran, she called out, Money, here I come. He stood there speechless, unable to do anything. Soon, they arrived at the temple. Shrouded in mist, the majestic temple looked like a celestial realm. The abbot came out to greet his familiar guest. Shen Wu, it's been a while. I've been waiting for you. Meanwhile, Ling Dao silently shed tears, having found no treasure. Didn't they say there were a lot of treasures? Why is there nothing? The elder, Abbot Yuanmi, gently ushered them inside. Please follow me. The main path leading into the temple seemed to stretch endlessly. They walked for a long time, but still hadn't reached their destination. Ling Dao, out of breath, complained, "Senior brother, why haven't we arrived yet? This temple is too big. I can't walk anymore." Shen Wu, sensing something amiss, asked the abbot, "Master, are you making things difficult for us?" The abbot calmly replied, "As expected, you truly are a gifted young man. All forms are empty. If you see all forms as no form, you see the Tathagata." As soon as he finished speaking, the surroundings blurred, space seemed to distort, and the scene reverted back to when they first arrived at the temple. Ling Dao muttered in confusion, how did it change back? It turned out to be a joke by Abbot Yuanmi. He turned around with a bright smile, scratching his head. Just a little jest. Please don't mind it. Then he addressed Shen Wu alone. "Shen Wu, please come with me." He didn't forget to instruct Ling Dao, "Stay here and don't run around. I'll be back soon." Although curious, Ling Dao could only agree. "All right, understood." Lost in thought, replaying the events in her mind, she didn't realize it was all an illusion, nor when he had learned such a technique. Just then, Meng Tianshu appeared out of nowhere behind her. "Junior sister Ling, you're here too." Startled, she cried out, "Oh." Tianshu leaned in close, teasing, "Taking so long. Could it be that senior brother finally came to his senses and brought you out for a stroll?" Ling Dao blushed, shyly denying, "No, nothing like that. There's nothing between us." But Tianshu seemed to have seen through her. Grinning, she continued to tease, "Why so flustered?" Ling Dao quickly changed the subject. "I'm curious. The abbot just called senior brother inside. They seem quite familiar." Tianshu paused, recalling the past. "Senior brother used to be a lay disciple here for a while." Ling Dao asked curiously, "A lay disciple?" Meng Tianshu began to reminisce about that winter, the bare branches devoid of leaves, and a poignant story. "My father told me that senior brother was abandoned by his family as a baby and was fortunately found by Abbot Yuanmi in time. It's a scene I remember vividly, the old monk holding a speechless infant in his arms in the depths of winter." Tianshu continued the story of the pitiful child. It said that senior brother was destined for Buddhism. Intelligent from a young age and gifted in swordsmanship, he entered the foundational stage at 8. Later, someone approached Abbot Yuanmi, seeing senior brother's excellent potential, and brought him back to the sect. Ling Dao pictured an 8-year-old child practicing swordsmanship with a large sword and couldn't help but sigh. She replied, "I see." Then, she recalled the original story where Shen Wu turned completely evil after obtaining the devouring lotus, the reasons for which were unclear. Ling Dao felt both puzzled and worried. What was the real reason for his descent into darkness? Could it really be because of being abandoned by his family? Meanwhile, Shen Wu and the abbot sat opposite each other, enjoying tea. The abbot began, "There are 2 reasons I asked you to come. One is the well-known curse. The other is the annual Dharma assembly of the Wuxiang Temple." Shen Wu listened intently, his expression serious. The abbot continued, "The assembly will choose the master of the heavenly and earthly spiritual treasure, the golden cauldron. It's a golden staff containing immense power, a treasure everyone dreams of possessing. Unfortunately, in the past 10 years, 10,000 participants from all realms have come, but none have met the requirements." The abbot's tone turned solemn and grave. "And this golden cauldron should not return here again." Master Yuanmi paid him no mind. The golden cauldron shouldn't have returned to this temple. He began to recall the great war against the demons 500 years ago, when the twin springs on the golden cauldron fell along with it. He remembered standing before that door. Master Ami of Cloud Village had long suspected the 2 spiritual treasures were connected, inseparable. That's why he had the Confucian temple rebuild the plaza, isolating it from outsiders. He continued to reminisce. The scene back then was like 2 koi swimming within a formation. Later, it was discovered that these 2 treasures were not only connected, but also forged together. The golden cauldron could barely suppress the spiritual power of the twin springs. Now, his face remained impassive. The year the golden cauldron fell, it was the Mid-Autumn Festival. Every year at that time, the twin springs become exceptionally agitated. If they couldn't find someone to control the Golden Cauldron this year, the consequences would be unimaginable. Shen Wu was completely confused, unable to understand the master's meaning. Master Yumi spoke frankly. This is precisely why I seek someone who can control the Golden Cauldron, to use its power to suppress the twin springs. Through meditation, I foresee great fortune approaching. All my life, I've waited for the destined one to bear this responsibility. Zhao Shuni pondered silently. So, Master Yumi doesn't know how to become the master of the Golden Cauldron himself. Then what are we competing for? I'm not good at this. Meng Tianshu suddenly perked up. No problem. I'll do it. She then complained. If I had known it was a martial arts competition, I wouldn't have come. Meng Tianshu blurted out, Senior sister, do you want to change weapons? If you want, I can help you win. Shen Wu added, I've heard this magical treasure is extremely fierce. Ordinary people can't control it at all. Senior brother you and me means for us to maintain the formation and ensure a fair competition. Zhao Shuni sighed, alas, we're just judges. How boring. Meng Tianshu quickly reminded her, Shuni, what is senior brother looking at? She suddenly realized, all right, we still have junior sister Ling. Suddenly called out, Ling Dao was startled. Meng Tianshu, as if grasping at a lifeline, immediately put her arm around Ling Dao's shoulder. Junior sister Ling, you're a demon. If this treasure only recognizes demons, then you should go try tomorrow and beat all those guys down. I'll definitely cheer for you from below. Ling Dao waved her hands repeatedly. No, I'm just a little grass demon. My spiritual power is weak. I'm good at planting medicine, but don't look for me for fighting. Meng Tianshu disagreed. You've already reached this realm. You even cured Shuani. You shouldn't be an exception, right? Junior sister Ling, don't be so modest. Ling Dao quickly changed the subject. Although senior brother Zhao says his constitution is ordinary, his cultivation is profound. This kind of thing definitely won't be difficult for him. But Meng Tianshu immediately retorted, you just saved him from chi deviation. If something happens again, even the gods won't be able to save him. Suddenly, someone silently approached Ling Dao from behind. Now you know your cultivation is weak. He lowered his head and scolded her. But you used to be lazy and didn't practice. Such a good opportunity. Are you going to let it slip away? Her face flushed slightly. Senior brother is right. She suddenly took a step back, thinking, why is he so close to me? I need to get away quickly. So she quickly sought help. When will senior brother Zhao have time to teach me? As soon as she finished speaking, he glared at her fiercely. Zhao Shuni shuddered in fear. Shen Wu coldly swept his gaze over everyone, warning them not to mess around. Zhao Shuni hurriedly said, No, my meager cat-scratch kung fu would only be an embarrassment. Senior brother Zhao's cultivation is profound. He used to teach us. Meng Tianshu's forehead broke out in a sweat. That's right, the senior brothers have taught us very diligently. Even the mischievous junior brothers are obedient in front of him. Before turning to leave, he gave Ling Dao two choices. Either transfer to Dual Peaks to cultivate, or don't come back. With that, he left. The two who had been scolded now shared a knowing look. Senior brother has never taken the initiative to be close to anyone, but now he's persuading someone to stay. Zhao Shuni added, even if it's nominally for cultivation, it's clearly something more. Both of them were now staring at her with gossipy eyes. Time flew by, and the day of the competition quickly arrived. There was a huge crowd, and the voices of the young novices rose and fell. Benefactors, please don't crowd. We are now distributing numbers. Please queue up. Number 111, please collect your number. 112. The young novice continued calling out numbers. Ling Dao stood at the back, complaining inwardly. Strange, why does Master You and me keep smiling at me? He approached and greeted Ling Dao. Fellow Daoist, we meet again. She smiled politely, haha, yes, but wondered inwardly, is he looking down on me? Master Yumi pressed his palms together and chanted, peace of mind follows fate, all things are possible. Amipa. She stood to the side, sighing repeatedly, as expected of a Zen master. Talking to him always makes one feel enlightened. The abbot made no announcement. The five-way competition quickly began, and soon a demon was smashed into the wall. With hands clasped together and a humble expression, the fox demon spoke, worry etched on their face. Master, there's something I've never understood. I heard this Dharma assembly was to find the owner of a magical treasure, but as far as I know, most magical treasures choose their own masters. If two individuals are not fated, no matter how strong they are, it's useless. So why make everyone compete like this? They spoke without reservation. Haha, little friend, you are indeed wiser than most. This old monk wants to see how strong the person I recommended is, and whether they are stronger than my disciples. Yuemi narrowed his eyes, his words seemingly directed at someone specific. But you should know, some people are quite stingy and unwilling to reveal their strength in front of their disciples. This old monk won't bring them out to play. Finally, Ling Dao understood. The outcome of this competition had nothing to do with the ownership of the magical treasure. This old monk was deliberately letting everyone fight amongst themselves for his own amusement. Ling Dao tentatively asked, "Master, then what is the true purpose of this Dharma assembly?" He stroked his beard, lost in thought. His expression then turned serious. "Keep watching, and you'll soon find out." Suddenly, a piercing shriek echoed. "When are we going to really start fighting?" A foot stomped heavily on the ground, followed by a contemptuous voice. "Fighting with you bunch of losers is a complete waste of my time." Lu Cheng's eyes were filled with confidence as he declared, "Come on, this prince will take you all on." As soon as he finished speaking, a doubtful voice arose. "Prince? Could he be the Demon King's son?" Lu Cheng. The image of Lu Cheng and Zhao Shuni acting like sworn brothers flashed through Ling Dao's mind. In the original story, this leopard cat and Zhao Shuni became friends through fighting, turning from rivals into allies, and ultimately joining forces against the villain, Shen Wu. The result, however, was him lying on the ground, his expression dejected. Shen Wu is simply too strong. To protect the female lead, Lu Cheng was brutally killed by Shen Wu and even skinned to be made into a leopard skin rug. Lu Cheng continued to laugh, a powerful aura surging from his palms. He glanced around, asking anyone else, "Come on." Then, pointing at Abbot Yuemi, he said triumphantly, "Baldy, hand over the magical treasure if you know what's good for you, or I'll raise this Wuxiang temple to the ground." Standing to the side, Ling Dao thought with a wry smile, "With you being this arrogant, you'll definitely die even more miserably than me." Without saying a word, Abbot Yuemi gathered spiritual energy in his palm and then levitated into the air. Ling Dao exclaimed, "Master, what are you doing?" He simply smiled gently. "Little friend, it's your turn. Go teach him how a young demon should interact with others." Her face paled, and she nearly burst into tears, asking earnestly, "Is there no one here stronger than me?" "Why me?" She then landed softly, a voice coming from behind, "Disciple Shun, don't be angry." Shen Wu roared at the monk's attempt to calm him. "Her spiritual power is so weak. Isn't this sending her to her death? Quickly bring her down." The monk remained in front, replying, "Disciple Shun, please calm down. The abbot has his own arrangements. Please trust him." Just then, enormous claws suddenly lunged towards Ling Dao. Caught off guard, Ling Dao quickly dodged, asking, "Has it already started?" Why wasn't there any explanation? Lu Cheng laughed as he attacked. "Baldy, you're sending a weakling to fight me." Her expression turned cold, and she turned to shout, "Hey, if I remember correctly, you're here for your father, right? I advise you to give up. Even if you obtain the twin springs, you can't save him." Hearing this, Lu Cheng froze, seriously asking, "Who are you?" A voice immediately replied, "I'm just an ordinary demon. Don't worry about it." Ling Dao hurriedly ran towards Abbot Yuemi, anxiously saying, "Master, quickly undo the barrier and let me out. How could I possibly defeat him?" At this moment, Lu Cheng gritted his teeth, a technique forming in his hand, thinking to himself, "Legend says the twin springs can bring the dead back to life. If I can bring them back, I can definitely restore my father's health and revitalize the demon race." Lu Cheng's face darkened, a complex glint in his eyes as he continued to ponder. But his claws had already grabbed Ling Dao's shoulder as he demanded, "Speak. Why do you say I can't save him?" Lu Cheng lifted her with his spiritual power, roaring fiercely, "Besides, my father's illness has been kept secret. Where did you hear about it?" Choking from his grip, Ling Dao coughed a few times, struggling to answer, "I just don't." Ling Dao trembled, clutching his claws, hoarsely crying out, Let go." At this moment, a thought flashed through her mind. In the original story, Lu Cheng's father, the Demon King, died and another concubine ascended. He failed in the palace power struggle, was driven out of the demon capital, and it was then that he became sworn brothers with Zhao Shuni. Meng Tianshu began to worry outside. "Shuni, what should we do? This guy is too strong. I'm afraid junior sister Ling won't be able to hold on." The young monk replied excitedly, "I think it's quite interesting." He then continued to explain, "Besides, look, all of us senior brothers are very busy. We don't have time right now." At this point, Shen Wu was nearly frantic with worry, his spiritual power beginning to stir restlessly. The monk beside him, seeing this, offered a reminder. Shen Wu, this won't do. I'm afraid there will be countless casualties. This barrier cannot be broken. It's not the right time yet. Please continue to observe. Shen Wu only grunted in dissatisfaction after hearing this. Just then, spiritual power suddenly surged from somewhere. Sensing the spiritual power, Shen Wu also revealed a surprised expression. At this moment, Abba Yumi pressed his palms together and praised. Good, good. Ling Dao closed her eyes tightly, trembling slightly, wondering what to do. Her spiritual power seemed to be cut off by the light. A slender hand reached out helplessly, completely unable to cast any spells. Unexpectedly, a sacred artifact materialized from the intermittent source of spiritual power and landed in Ling Dao's hand, momentarily stunning her. Lu Cheng's expression immediately changed, and he cried out in alarm. The weapon in her hand swiftly deflected Lu Cheng's attack, sending him flying back. At this moment, the severed claws fell, mist filled the air, and panic cries rang out from all around. Where is this? Amidst the white fog, Ling Dao, holding the sacred artifact, gradually appeared, her gaze firm. Ling Dao stepped onto the arena, cradling the staff in her arms. The spectators widened their eyes and whispered amongst themselves, "No way, isn't that the statue?" "Yeah, I've been coming to the Dharma Assembly for 5 years, and I've never seen anything like this." Seeing her enter the arena, Meng Tianshu cheered excitedly. "Junior sister Ling Dao, I knew you could do it." Lu Cheng, seeing the enormous staff hurtling towards him, panicked. "Hey, how is this possible?" The staff slammed down heavily, shattering the arena floor and sending dust flying. Lu Cheng screamed. When the dust settled, he lay flat on the ground, staring fixedly at the weapon that had nearly sent him to the afterlife. He groaned. "Who are you? Were you pretending to be weak just to toy with me?" She retracted the weapon, her expression somewhat embarrassed. "No," Ling Dao stammered. "I really am just an insignificant little demon." At this moment, Abba Yumi stepped forward, pressing his palms together and saying, "Amit Ba, the victor has been decided. There is no need to continue the remaining matches." A moment later, Ling Dao and the abbot were conversing in a room. She got straight to the point. "Abbot Yumi, what's going on? Please enlighten me." The abbot slowly replied, "The Golden Summit Dharma Assembly has been held for 10 years. You are the first person capable of wielding the Golden Summit staff. Therefore, I hope you can appease the Twin Springs and investigate the cause of their unrest." Ling Dao hastily declined. "Abbot, I am but a small demon with shallow cultivation. I'm afraid I will disappoint your expectations." The abbot only sighed and took out a few books. "Is that so? If you can successfully resolve this matter, in addition to the Golden Summit staff, Wuxian Temple will also gift you several cultivation manuals." Hearing this, her eyes immediately lit up. Ling Dao thought to herself greedily, "I can clearly feel my cultivation nearing a breakthrough here at Wuxian Temple. If I have these manuals to guide me, I might even be safe during the war between immortals and demons. But if I can't cure the Twin Springs, wouldn't I die even more miserably?" Suddenly, Shen Wu leaned close to her. "I'll go with you." "You won't die." Ling Dao was startled. Seeing the opportune moment, the senior brother, the old monk, directly stuffed the books in her hands and declared, "Good, it's settled then. A gentleman's word is his bond. Ling Dao, Shen Wu, we're counting on you." She was still hesitant, but he didn't give her a chance, immediately arranging everything. "The Twin Springs will appear at noon. You two should rest first. Your accommodations have been prepared." Shen Wu nodded indifferently. "Thank you for your troubles, Abbot." Ling Dao stood beside him, practically fuming. Since when did he get to make the decisions? "He's not my husband." Her thoughts wandered far away. Then she suddenly snapped back to reality, her face flushing red, and she jumped. Clutching the books, she stammered to herself, "Heavens, what am I thinking?" Her senior brother looked at her with confusion, while the old monk wore a knowing smile, saying nothing. Ling Dao then moved to a pavilion surrounded by spiritual energy. She sighed softly. This place is perfect for cultivation." Ling Dao murmured to herself, looking at the swirling blue spiritual energy around her, and sighed softly. "Perhaps it's the influence of the Twin Springs, combined with my water and with spiritual roots. It's a match made in heaven." I didn't expect that evil cultivator to be right when he said I had already formed my core. Shen Wu, resting his chin on his hand, watched her and asked, "You're only realizing this now?" Ling Dao looked at the person in front of her, startled as if she had seen a ghost. "Senior brother, when did you get here?" "You didn't make a sound," he said indifferently. "I was bored in my room, so I came to find you." Shen Wu tilted his head as if seeking help. "It seems your cultivation method is very beneficial to your medical skills. Cough. I have an ailment. Perhaps you could help me treat it." She looked at the seemingly healthy man before her, her face full of confusion. "Senior brother, you look perfectly normal." Shen Wu looked thoughtfully at his hands. "Whenever I have physical contact with someone, I see their most intimate moments. It's completely passive. I can't control it at all." She froze, thinking, the villain has this kind of setting. It wasn't in the original story. Ling Dao carefully recalled every detail, then hesitantly asked, "Senior brother, have you seen what the most intimate moment between you and me is?" Shen Wu thought for a moment, silent for a long time, his face slowly turning red. She looked at him, extremely uneasy. Could it be the day he killed me? Did I ask the wrong question? Ling Dao pieced together the clues in her mind and suddenly understood. In the original story, Ling Dao and Shen Wu barely knew each other and had no chance to interact. But I accidentally saved him, so Shishang Tiankai wanted to kill me. He had planned to attack me all along. On the other side, the villain finally spoke. My Dao heart cannot be shaken." Ling Dao was dumbfounded. She was filled with confusion. What did he see that could actually affect his Dao heart? Shen Wu continued, "I also know you like money." He glanced at her somewhat sheepishly. "When you cure me, you'll receive a lot of merit. I'll definitely make you happy." She thought this was a good deal. If she could cure Shen Wu, perhaps she could use the life-saving grace to make him spare her. Thinking of this, Ling Dao moved closer and said, "That's not important, as long as you promise me one thing." Shen Wu asked, "What is it?" She replied, "Whether I can cure you or not, you can't use your ability to see things on me." Shen Wu suddenly frowned. "Do you know what I saw?" She said cheerfully, "I'm just guessing. If you don't want to say it, it definitely isn't anything good." Shen Wu propped his chin on his hand, revealing a wicked smile. "All right, I promise you. Even if you cry and beg me, I will never do that kind of thing to you." But Ling Dao didn't understand the meaning of his words at all, only thinking in confusion, who would cry and beg him to kill them. Ling Dao stared blankly at the thing in front of her. "Are you the spirit of the twin Yin Springs?" Under the water, a tiny, super cute creature stared back at her with large, watery eyes. Its eyes suddenly became aggrieved, and it began to tell her its story. She nodded as she listened. "I see. You're just a small spring spirit from the twin Yin Springs, living peacefully with your companions for over 1,000 years. Then one day, a staff fell from the sky, shattering your tranquility. The big tree beside you protected you, but no one noticed you were sucked into the Golden Cauldron staff, and that's how you ended up in Wuxian Temple." At this moment, Shen Wu, arms crossed, interjected, "It seems the Golden Cauldron staff and the Twin Yin Springs are both spiritual treasures nurtured by Mount Kunlun." Ling Dao pondered, "I've gained a recognition of the Golden Cauldron staff, and I'm also very close to the Twin Yin Springs. Could I have some connection to Kunlun?" She looked at the little spirit and asked, "Do you want to go back to Kunlun and play with your friends?" The little spring spirit immediately burst into tears. It nodded vigorously, suddenly jumping into Ling Dao's arms and nuzzling against her. She giggled. "You're so soft and cute. I thought you were some powerful monster. I only learned you were a good child after hearing Abbott you and me." As she played with the little creature, she noticed a certain senior brother staring at the little thing clinging to his junior sister with murderous eyes. Ling Dao thought to herself, "But I remember the novel saying that after the Great War, 500 years ago, the spirits of the four seas and 8 desolations suffered, and the entire Mount Kunlun was frozen. This spring spirit might be the only survivor." A voice came from afar. "Little friend, Ling Dao, help it fulfill its wish." The cute little creature bared its teeth at the person angrily. She patted its head. "Don't bare your teeth at the abbot." Abba Yumi stood to the side, analyzing. "If it continues to stay in the temple's spiritual spring, it will only cause more trouble and may even hurt more monks and pilgrims." He continued, "Unless we seal it away, but that's no different from letting it perish." Ling Dao awkwardly fiddled with the little creature in her hand. He said with a smile, "Why not help it fulfill its wish? Consider it a good deed." Ling Dao thought to herself. This is a good opportunity to go to the summit of Mount Kunlun and get rid of senior brother at the same time. With this thought, she agreed with a smile. Then I'll protect it and take it back. The little creature jumped up and down happily on her shoulder. Shen Wu put his hands together in thanks. The abbot is truly noble. We will find a way to resolve this tribulation. She looked at her senior brother in confusion. The old monk nodded with a smile. Ha ha, then I'll leave it to you all. Ling Dao muttered to herself. What do you mean we? I don't want to. Time passed, and, as expected, Meng Tianshu arrived. She waved to Ling Dao. Junior sister Ling, let's go. We've already reported to the sect, and we can leave for Kunlun now. She said somewhat listlessly. As expected, it's still unavoidable. Suddenly, an angry voice rang out. Hey you. Lu Cheng jumped out, brandishing his claws. Leave the earth's spring spirit to me. Ling Dao immediately shielded the little spring spirit, activating her spiritual power with her other hand. Why is it you again? She summoned her staff, puzzled. Didn't I already tell you? This spring water can't cure your illness. Stop deluding yourself. Showing off your weapon is cool, isn't it? But aren't you still hiding behind your senior brother, pretending? Besides, your senior brother is here this time too. You can't beat him. Just give up. Shen Wu glanced at her disdainfully, as if she only remembered him in critical moments. Oh, now you remember me. He pushed her forward. Don't be afraid. You lack practical experience. I'll leave this guy for you to practice on. Try using the golden cauldron staff. She replied flusteredly, but I don't think I can beat him. Last time was just luck. Shen Wu leaned close to her ear, taking the opportunity to get a little closer. I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you. Go on. Leave this to me. As he spoke, he plucked off something that had been clinging to her. Ling Dao's cheeks flushed, and she muttered to herself. There's no need to get so close to talk, is there? Suddenly, a scream rang out, followed by Zhao Shuni shouting, Tianshu. Ling Dao looked back worriedly. Senior sister Meng. Lu Cheng tightly gripped Meng Tianshu with his spiritual power, threatening in a low growl. Little monster, I know the condensed spring is on you. If you don't want this girl to die, bring the condensed spring to the myriad demon city to save her. Shuni immediately stepped forward to block him. Let her go. Ling Dao turned to Shen Wu and pleaded, Senior brother, save senior sister Meng. Didn't you say you would protect us? But he coldly replied, I'm only protecting you. She was choked by his plastic teammate attitude. Good heavens, don't give the female supporting character those overbearing CEO lines. Besides, is this the time to say that? Meng Tianshu is your fellow senior sister. Are you really this cold to the female supporting character? He looked up, about to say something more, when another scream rang out, and the situation instantly reversed. In the blink of an eye, the delicate young woman had pinned the guy to the ground and was beating him up. She scolded, How dare you be disrespectful to Physician Ling and act so arrogant in front of me? Apologize right now, or you'll face the consequences. Shuni stood beside her, soothing her. All right, calm down, calm down. He also took the opportunity to mock the dazed Lu Cheng. Shen Wu finished his previous sentence. Besides you, there's no one else who needs me to save. The meaning was clear. Nothing but trouble. In the tavern, Lu Cheng shouted, Stop laughing. It's just because I was injured that woman got the upper hand. Tianshu laughed. All right, you're right, you're the strongest. She added, Oh, you poor thing. Pray tell, were your injuries also inflicted by another woman? Ling Dao suppressed her laughter until she felt internal injuries, and Lu Cheng fumed. You're all bullying me. Shen Wu interrupted their argument. All right, business is important. Why did you take the condensed spring? Lu Cheng frowned and explained. The Demon King is gravely ill and can no longer suppress the demons. At this point, he slammed his hand on the table angrily. Among them, the Fox Demon clan is ambitious and has seized most of the power, taking control of the Myriad Demon City. If we don't stop them in time, the Myriad Demon City will likely change hands. This isn't just our family's affair. Among the demon clans, the Fox clan is the most skilled at manipulating hearts. If they succeed, the demon realm will be thrown into chaos, and it's likely to affect other realms. After speaking, he looked at the little thing on her head. It said that the condensed spring can reverse the body's time, restoring the elderly to their prime. I must restore my father's health and reclaim everything. She was speechless at these rumors. The condensed spring didn't actually have this effect, and the little spring spirit had said so. But Ling Dao confidently struck a pose. That's easy. Although 2 condensed springs can't save your father, I can. Lu Cheng was dumbfounded, but Meng Tianshu nodded behind him. Of course she can. We're spiritual physicians, descendants of reclusive experts. Zhao Junyu was also saved by a spiritual physician when he was afflicted by demonic energy. Hearing this, Lu Cheng said, "Then come back to the myriad demon city with me. As long as you can cure my father, I'll agree to any condition." Ling Dao secretly rejoiced. This is exactly what I wanted to hear. This way, I can go to the myriad demon city to treat the demon king and also get away. Thinking of this, she held up 5 fingers and cleared her throat. I want this much. Ling Dao chuckled to herself. 500 grade 4 spirit stones, a bit more expensive than treating senior brother Zhao Shunyi's injuries. But Lu Cheng is the Demon King's son after all, so the price is negotiable. This way, the money Shen Wu spent before won't seem like much, and he should feel how much I respect him. She turned to look at Shen Wu, who was staring at her with a puzzled expression. Lu Cheng immediately agreed. 500 grade 4 spirit stones. That seems reasonable. I'll give them to you now. Hearing this, Ling Dao felt a pang of regret. Having everyone be so rich. Did I set the price too low? I feel like I've lost out big time. A few minutes later, Ling Dao happily accepted the money. A bulging money pouch always gave one a sense of security. She said, "Senior Sister Meng, senior brothers, this trip to Myriad Demon City will definitely be arduous. The sect might have other instructions, or perhaps you." She hadn't even finished speaking when Meng Tianshu interrupted her. "It's fine, I'll just tell my father." Zhao Shunyi, standing beside her, added a comment, leaving Ling Dao speechless. "Divine Doctor, we can't let you go alone. Senior brother wouldn't agree either, right?" Shen Wu nodded vigorously. He crossed his arms and said seriously, "Lu Cheng is right. This matter, while not earth-shattering, concerns the common people. This trip will definitely be dangerous. We can't let you go alone." Ling Dao had wanted to escape this group of fierce beasts, thinking to herself, "But to me, you guys are the most dangerous." At this moment, Lu Cheng stood up and said, "We shouldn't delay. Let's set off immediately. The journey from here to Myriad Demon City is long, and we must hurry back. I'll make the arrangements." The group of friends excitedly discussed the upcoming journey. "I've never been to Myriad Demon City before. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, let's go have some fun." Ling Dao sighed in despair, while Shen Wu, standing behind them, watched the scene with a speechless expression. He thought to himself, "If we take the flying boat, won't she have to hold on to my waist, standing on my sword as we fly?" The group arrived at Myriad Demon City, and Lu Cheng began to explain the plan. "We're here. This is Myriad Demon City. We'll go in right away, but we can't let the Fox Demon clan get suspicious. Otherwise it will be troublesome." He stroked his chin thoughtfully. "You'll have to disguise yourselves as my Fox Demon friends to lower their guard." Then he pointed at Shen Wu and Ling Dao. "You two, pretend to be husband and wife." Ling Dao felt as if she'd been struck by lightning upon hearing these words. "What?" He pointed at the original male and female leads. "You two as well." Zhao Shunyi blushed and whispered to Meng Tianshu, "Do we have to as well?" Ling Dao held her head and wailed inwardly, "I can't pretend to be an old married couple with Shen Wu again. I was tormented enough in Zhao Shunyi's illusion last time. I'm afraid I'll die without a burial place if it happens again." Thinking of this, she put her hands on her hips and said loudly, "I'm just a nameless little demon. You actually want me to act as husband and wife with senior brother. Do you even respect our senior brother? Right, senior brother?" She rubbed her hands together and looked at Shen Wu. Upon hearing this, Shen Wu glared fiercely at Lu Cheng. Lu Cheng looked at them, feeling a wave of exhaustion. "You guys are really troublesome. All right, then can you pretend to be my lover?" As soon as he finished speaking, Shen Wu's gaze instantly sharpened, as if saying, "Are you sure about that, little leopard?" Lu Cheng cried out in distress. "Did I say something wrong? I feel like I'm about to be skinned alive." He quickly corrected himself, recognizing his position. "Pretending to be my lover isn't quite appropriate either." Over there, Ling Dao was looking worriedly at the little bun on her head, which was trembling. Spring Spirit, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell?" The person standing next to her was as cold as the Arctic. He thought to himself, "She refused to act as my wife, yet she didn't say a word against acting as his lover. What does this little demon mean?" Lu Cheng's head was spinning as he looked at the two of them. "Forget it. You two just act as the servants I bought. Don't cause any trouble with Duan Fei, lest we get exposed. Just pretend I bought you as servants. That actually fits my image quite well." Ling Dao's 2 senior brothers fell silent. Who would have thought that both of them had lost their roles their flags all fallen. Lu Cheng continued to explain the plan. I'll take you to the banquet. I'll find a way to distract Duan Fei, and Divine Doctor will take the opportunity to enter my father's palace and treat him. At the banquet, a small fry came over with wine to toast Lu Cheng. He smiled and said, "Your Highness's good taste. Even the servants you brought are so handsome. I wonder if I could borrow one to play with." Lu Cheng muttered, "What's the rush? It's not new merchandise. Wait until I'm tired of playing with them." The small fry turned to Meng Tianshu and raised his glass. "Then come and drink with us. How about it?" Zhao Shuni silently watched the guy who dared to flirt with his woman, while Meng Tianshu innocently replied, "Sounds fun. Teach me how to play." She thought happily, "It's rare to come down the mountain and escape my father's control. I can't miss this good opportunity." Zhao Shuni could only sigh. Night had fallen, the perfect time to act. Shen Wu and Ling Dao quickly knocked out the guards. Ling Dao said, "Good, we're in." Senior sister Meng and senior brother Zhao are still at the banquet, probably keeping Duan Fei occupied with Lu Cheng. Shen Wu nodded in reminder. Quickly take his pulse." Looking at the person lying quietly behind the curtain, Ling Dao whispered, "Is that the Demon King lying on the bed?" Shen Wu replied, "Probably." Ling Dao lifted the curtain and said, "Excuse me." Then she gently placed her hand on the Demon King's wrist to take his pulse and then froze. Ling Dao's face instantly paled. How is this possible? He had no pulse. After a moment, she turned to Shen Wu and said, "Senior brother, didn't Lu Cheng say the Demon King was gravely ill? But he doesn't even have a pulse now." Shen Wu remained silent. Sensing something amiss, Shen Wu rushed over and hugged Ling Dao tightly. "Come here," he said. A bewildered Ling Dao blurted out, "WH what?" Her cheeks flushed. Ling Dao hid in the corner and whispered, "Senior brother, what are you doing?" Shen Wu immediately covered her mouth. Don't speak. Someone's coming," he whispered, thinking, "You're leaning against me again. Don't move. I'll use a spell to hide us." Pressed against Shen Wu, Ling Dao thought, so close. I can even feel his breath. Just then, a voice rang out, "Concubine Duan has arrived." As soon as she entered, she sensed something and scoffed. It seems some ignorant rats have dared to intrude and disrupt my spell." She tried to sniff out the intruders, then her eyes widened in shock. Sweat beaded on Duan Fei's forehead. "They not only broke my spell, but I can't even sense their location. This is bad. Their cultivation must be higher than mine. There are assassins in the palace. Search everywhere. Whoever brings me the assassins' heads will be handsomely rewarded," she ordered. Suddenly, a voice interrupted. "Which concubine is so bold as to disturb father's rest?" It was Lu Cheng, who had just arrived, a wine gourd in hand, his face slightly flushed. So it's you making a ruckus outside father's chambers. Are you planning a rebellion?" he said casually, then hiccuped. Duan Fei replied sarcastically, "Your Highness speaks too harshly. His Majesty is gravely ill, and this concubine is deeply worried. My heart and mind solely focused on His Majesty. Heaven and earth can bear witness. Besides, rebellion is a grave crime. Your Highness shouldn't throw such accusations around lightly, lest you gain a reputation for being narrow-minded. Little beast, I'll chop you into 8 pieces sooner or later," she thought viciously. Lu Cheng sneered. "You're right. I'll remember that." Hidden in the shadows, Ling Dao listened to their exchange with growing concern. The Demon King is ill. His uncle holds power. Lu Cheng lost his mother at a young age, and his mother's status was low, her family unable to help. He's completely isolated in the court. She thought with pity, if the Demon King unfortunately passes away, Duan Fei definitely won't let him live. Lu Cheng is truly pitiful. Duan Fei gritted her teeth, irritated by Lu Cheng's interference. "TSK, I wanted to continue the spell, but this brat couldn't stay put at the banquet and had to come ruin things. Once I ascend the throne, I'll kill this unfilial son first." She was about to lift the curtain, thinking, just to be safe, I should check behind the curtain again. Behind the curtain, Ling Dao pressed herself tightly against Shen Wu, terrified. "We're finished." At that critical moment, a servant girl rushed in, flustered. "Concubine Duan, the second prince is crying and asking for you." Duan Fei immediately turned around anxiously. "What? My poor son. Don't frighten him. I'll go see him right away." Lu Cheng spoke up. "Wait, isn't this a diversion tactic by the assassins? They're pretending to attack father's chambers while actually planning to assassinate my younger brother. He's still my brother after all. Perhaps I should accompany concubine Duan as a show of concern." Duan Fei smiled. "Your Highness is so kind. Your brother will be very happy to know how much you care for him." Ling Dao heard Lu Cheng continue. It's only right. Then please, concubine Duan, lead the way. Seeing Duan Fei leave, she whispered to Shen Wu with relief, "Great, senior brother, they're finally gone." Ling Dao took Shen Wu's hand. "Let's go before they come back," she whispered, then looked up at him, her cheeks flushing. They stood very close, their eyes locked in a gentle, ambiguous gaze. Shen Wu suddenly leaned in close to Ling Dao's ear, his breath brushing against it. Shen Wu's face flushed crimson as he recalled her coquettish voice. Senior brother, be gentler." They stared at each other, the atmosphere thick with awkwardness. Ling Dao quickly pushed Shen Wu away, her heart pounding, and waved her hands in a fluster. "Senior brother, it's getting late. We should go back to our rooms and rest. Senior sister Meng and senior brother Zhao have probably returned already." Shen Wu simply replied, Stop. Why am I being shy? Get a grip. He's the villain. I can't get involved with the protagonists. Don't court death, Ling Dao thought, her heart still racing. I'm just cannon fodder. I mustn't get involved with the protagonists. I don't want to die. Back at their lodgings, Ling Dao quickly tried to slip away. "Good night, senior brother. I'm going back to my room to sleep." Shen Wu, arms crossed, simply replied, Back in her room, Ling Dao tossed and turned, her face flushed as she thought, "Oh dear, what will the female lead say when she's drunk?" It took a while for her to calm down. She recalled what Meng Tianshu had said earlier. "Junior sister, although senior brother has a bad temper and is fierce, he definitely likes you." Then Zhao Shuni had awkwardly added, "Sorry, I couldn't stop her. She was drunk," Ling Dao muttered, patting her face. "Actually, I've thought about this before. So much has happened recently, and we even kissed. If I didn't know the plot beforehand, I would have misunderstood too." She continued her internal struggle. Honestly, who wouldn't be moved by someone handsome, from a good family, and with strong martial arts skills? That face alone could charm countless people. It's normal for my heart to race. Yes, that's it. She thought regretfully. If only Shen Wu wasn't the villain. If only I could change the plot. Ling Dao sat up straight. What am I thinking? So many beauties in the original story couldn't shake his resolve. A small fry like me shouldn't even dream. Time to sleep. As she drifted off, she thought hazily, someone like him, it's best to just admire from afar. Once I've cured him, I'll leave quickly. A while later, Shen Wu appeared by her bedside, quietly watching the sleeping Ling Dao. He gently touched her lips, thinking, if it were you, it wouldn't be so bad. The next morning, as everyone was chatting, Lu Chang suddenly spoke. "After all the commotion last night, what happened to my father?" Ling Dao replied, "It's a bit complicated. Ahem, the Demon King in the palace is fake. It's just a minor demon conjured by Duan Fei." Lu Cheng's jaw dropped. "No way. My father is fake." "Since when?" Zhao Shuni chimed in. "A fake Demon King. That's outrageous. Duan Fei is ruthless. To think she could try to kill him after all these years together." Shen Wu added, "I suspect the real Demon King isn't dead yet." Zhao Shuni clapped his hands in agreement. "Makes sense. The Fox clan is so powerful. If the real Demon King were dead, they would have driven Lu Qing out long ago and easily seized power. But they're still using demonic arts to maintain peace in Myriad Demon City. What does that tell us?" Ling Dao guessed. "It means the Demon King's title is still useful." Shen Wu nodded. "Exactly. As long as they can fool everyone, they can control the emperor and command the other clans." Zhao Shuni turned to Lu Cheng. "This is troublesome. Lu Cheng, do you know where the real Demon King is hidden?" Lu Cheng replied, no." Suddenly, the scepter began to glow, and Ling Dao happened to notice. Picking up the scepter, she thought, did I just imagine that? This thing just lit up. Quan Quan was unusually quiet today. Ling Dao finally sensed something was amiss and looked around. Where's Quan Quan? And where's the two extreme spring? Lu Cheng jumped up, hands on his hips. Gone. No way. Wasn't that a really powerful thing? Ling Dao searched frantically. Last night wasn't a good time to bring the spring out, so I left it in the golden cauldron in my room. Her cheeks flushed slightly as she thought, who was I thinking about back then? But who would notice? She continued, after returning from the Demon King's palace. I just passed out. I didn't expect this to happen. Suddenly, Ling Dao remembered something. Wait, she and Zhao Shuni stared at Lu Cheng, who waved his hands defensively. Why are you looking at me like that? I didn't steal it. Shen Wu noticed a blue light on the table. Found it. There's the aura of the two extreme spring here. The two extremes spring. Ling Dao had an idea. Let's try this. She used the golden cauldron scepter towards the blue light, and an image of a cliff appeared before them. Lu Cheng blurted out, "That's Dragon Scale Valley." He added, "Dragon Scale Valley is practically forbidden territory in Myriad Demon City. It's incredibly eerie, and legend says there's an evil dragon living in Jade Wave Lake." Ling Dao turned. "That's scary. Why would they take the two extremes, spring there? How we get in?" Zhao Shini spoke up. "Right after you two left last night, Lu Cheng made everyone think the little prince was missing and half the guard were reassigned." She continued, "Also, when the second prince went missing, Duan Fei's personal servant girl didn't go looking for him. Instead, she went to a well near the cold palace, glanced at it, and left. That well has been abandoned for ages, covered in vines and chains, and filled with a heavy Yin energy." Shen Wu analyzed, "Duan Fei must have hidden something important in that well. Perhaps we can find a clue to Dragon Scale Valley there. Let's go take a look." Zhao Shuni hesitated. "Tianshu drank too much last night and still isn't awake. We can't just leave her alone." Shen Wu replied, "We can't stay here any longer. We'll use a spell to send Meng Tianshu out of the city to an inn. We'll find you after we're done." They arrived at the well near the cold palace. Ling Dao said, "Why are there so many chains?" She added, "The Yin energy is too heavy. I can't see anything. Do you think Duan Fei hid someone down there?" Small demons floated within the well. Talismans and chains were wrapped around a jade pearl. Lu Cheng exclaimed, "That's a dragon pearl." Ling Dao asked why there was a dragon pearl here. Lu Cheng explained that years ago, during the succession battle, his father was ambushed and fell into Jade Ripple Lake. A dragon maiden saved him with a dragon pearl, and perhaps this was it. She remarked that a dragon pearl was to a dragon what a demon core was to a demon, but there were differences. Demons lost their souls when they lost their demon cores, but dragons wouldn't die, only weaken. Ling Dao found it strange that demon cores usually enhance power, so why was this one chain? Shen Wu replied that iron corroded dragon pearls. Whoever chained it wanted to control it. Lu Cheng stepped into the well, ignoring the dark magic, and reached for the dragon pearl. "Found you," he said slyly. "This rare treasure is mine." Suddenly, a demon mask sprang out, blocking him. "Oh no," Lu Cheng muttered. "Just a demon talisman," Shen Wu said. "Nothing serious, just a warning at most." A small demon slashed the talisman with his sword. The talisman instantly burned to ashes. Shen Wu continued, "You can't touch the dragon pearl directly. It'll burn you. You need to use silver to draw it over." Lu Cheng took a gamble, grabbing the chain with one hand and reaching for the pearl with the other. He got the dragon pearl and examined it closely. "Are you sure? I don't feel anything." Shen Wu said in astonishment, "You have dragon blood in you." Suddenly, a voice rang out. "Those inside, you are surrounded. Drop your weapons and put your hands up." Ling Dao and Shen Wu turned to look. Ling Dao gasped. Duan Fei had arrived with a group of subordinates, shouting, twisting the truth. "I know that beast Lu Cheng deceived you in human form. He killed his own father with his own hands, cold-blooded, heartless, and treacherous. Hand him over, and I will not only spare you, but also make you generals of Myriad Demon City, heroes who eliminated a traitor. Great rewards await you." Hearing this, Lu Cheng, down in the well, pounded the ground in anger. That crazy woman. He clenched his fists and slammed them on the ground, the sound echoing. Suddenly, a red light flashed, causing Lu Cheng to feel strange. The dragon pearl flew out of his hand. The red light absorbed the dragon pearl. Seeing the pearl disappear, Lu Cheng panicked and shouted after it, "Hey, don't run." Above, Ling Dao asked Shen Wu, "Senior brother, what do we do?" Shen Wu, casting a spell, said, "You go down with him first. I'll hold off Duan Fei." "Be careful, senior brother," she replied. Duan Fei sneered, "Just you, trying to protect others. I advise you to surrender, and I might spare your life." Ling Dao had already followed Lu Cheng down the well. "Ouch, that hurts," she cried. "I didn't expect the well to connect to such a large space. Where is this? Quan Quan, are you there?" Lu Cheng. Ling Dao suddenly gasped. She saw a wounded dragon. "It's a dragon," she thought. Ling Dao gently touched it, examining the dragon's wounds. "The injuries are too severe," she said. Just then, a voice spoke. "Young friend, I've been waiting for you." The person walked out and continued, "Things happened so suddenly." Lu Cheng was rude. "I deliberately led you here, all for her." Ling Dao asked, puzzled, "Who are you?" He replied, "Who I am is not important. Young friend, can you save this white dragon? He added, can you use the two extreme spring to heal her wounds? At that moment, the little sprite he had imprisoned struggled desperately to escape. Seeing the sprite, Ling Dao blurted out Quan Quan. He snapped his fingers, releasing the seal on the two extreme spring. Good, good, Ling Dao said happily. It's all right now. Quan Quan glared at him resentfully. Ling Dao said, I guess correctly, you're the Demon King, aren't you? Myriad Demon City is in chaos now. The Fox Demon Clan is about to usurp the throne. Only you can return and prove your identity to quell the situation. He replied, no, I want to stay here with her. She is my beloved and Chang'er's mother. You guessed correctly, friend. I am the Demon King, Lu Xianyuan. I have no regrets in this life. Not to heaven and earth, not to the people of Myriad Demon City. The only one I've wronged is my most beloved. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Father. Lu Cheng ran over and shouted, is everything you said true? Lu Xianyuan asked in return, Chang'er, how did you get here? Ling Dao quickly explained, your concubine framed him, accusing him of patricide and attempting to usurp the throne. He's being hunted now. Lu Cheng said excitedly, Duan Fei once told me that the evil dragon imprisoned here was my mother. I thought she was just trying to scare me. Lu Xianyuan lowered his head and said, yes, that year when I was fighting for the throne, I was seriously injured. Your mother saved me with the dragon pearl. We fell in love, married, and gave birth to you. To consolidate my power, I had to marry the fox demon. I didn't expect her jealousy to be so strong. She not only destroyed everything you had earned, but also lost your mother's dragon pearl. I've sent people to search for it for years, but to no avail. Now your mother doesn't have much time left, and I've come to spend her final moments with her. He continued, I heard that you possess the two-direction spring, so I had to resort to this. His words swayed Ling Dao. Lu Xianyuan said, as long as she can be saved, I will agree to any request you have. Even if it costs me my life, I have no regrets. He tried his best to persuade her. Power and fame are just fleeting clouds to me. Fellow cultivator, standing before you is not the city lord of Myriad Demon City, but just a husband who can't bear to see his wife suffer. Lu Xianyuan bowed his head and pleaded with Ling Dao. So I implore you, young friend, please save my wife. Ling Dao held his hand and said, Senior Lu, you are putting me in a difficult position. She looked at the white dragon and explained, it's not that I'm heartless, but Senior White Dragon's injuries are too severe. Medicine alone cannot heal her. Moreover, dragons have extremely long lifespans and strong self-healing abilities. Senior, you know the reason why you can't heal yourself better than I do. At this moment, Lu Cheng urgently said, is it the dragon pearl? Perhaps I have it. He took out the dragon pearl, greatly surprising Lu Xianyuan. The dragon woman transformed into her true form, lying on the ground, a brilliant dragon pearl appearing on her abdomen. Lu Cheng suddenly exclaimed, she has a dragon pearl. Doesn't that mean my mother is saved? Ling Dao was equally surprised, widening her eyes and replying, of course. The dragon pearl contains half of a dragon's cultivation. We don't need to do anything. She can recover on her own. The dragon woman suddenly flew up, the wound on her abdomen beginning to heal. She returned to her human form. Lu Cheng rushed forward to support her, crying and shouting, Mother, is it really you? He hugged her tightly, sobbing uncontrollably. When I was young, Father said you left home without a trace. Was that all a lie? The dragon woman looked at him lovingly and softly said, Chuh, you've grown so big. Lu Cheng's tears fell like rain. I said I wouldn't miss you. Remember you promised to watch me grow up? Mother, I've missed you so much all these years. On Ling Dao's side, the Demon King approached her and said, Young Master Ling, I have something else I'd like to ask you. He had a benevolent expression. Although the dragon woman has recovered her dragon pearl, her internal injuries have accumulated for a long time, and I'm afraid she still needs time to recuperate. I wonder if you could be so merciful as to lend your two directions spring to heal her. The Demon King's request made Ling Dao's heart tighten. She thought to herself, why does he keep his eyes on the two-direction spring? Then she replied, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you, Senior. I just happen to carry the two-direction spring with me, but I can't control it. His expression changed instantly, and he said angrily, Young friend, are you joking? Since the two directions spring recognizes you as its master, how can you not control it? Ling Dao was startled and quickly backed away. But that's the truth. The Demon King suddenly lunged at her, wanting to attack. If you can't control the two-direction spring, what use are you? Just then, a hand grabbed her shoulder. She looked up and saw it was Shen Wu. A joyful expression immediately appeared on her face. Senior brother, are you alright? Where's Duan Fei? He replied excitedly, I'm fine. Duan Fei heard about the commotion in Dragonscale Valley and left in a hurry. They're probably on their way here now. Just then, Lu Cheng's voice rang out. He frowned and said, Father, what are you doing? They are friends I specifically invited to save you. The Demon King stood in front of Lu Cheng and extended his hand. Then have your friend immediately control the two directions, spring to heal the dragon woman's internal injuries, and sever the connection between me and her. He added, sever the connection. What do you mean? What's going on? Was it not because of Duan Fei that father and mother became estranged? His eyes were bloodshot as he angrily said, how can someone like Duan Fei control me? Having such a useless son like you is truly my greatest misfortune. I see that the position of City Lord of Myriad Demons City doesn't need an heir. An argument erupted. Lu Cheng retorted loudly, do you think I care about that position? I fought with Duan Fei with all my might for you. I always thought you were being controlled. I was trying to save you. The dragon woman hurriedly spoke. Enough, Shen Wu. Why don't you think about all the absurd things you've said before? With that, she caressed Lu Cheng's cheek, tears streaming down her face. Cheng-er, you've suffered. He turned to look into her eyes. The dragon woman's tears vanished, replaced by a furious glare. Pointing at Lu Xianyuan, she declared, he lied to me. He lied to all of us. The truth isn't what he told everyone all those years ago. Back then, he was just the young city lord, Lu Xianyuan, gravely injured by enemies. It was the dragon woman who happened upon him and saved his life. Memories surfaced the very moment she healed him. Demon King Lu Xianyuan coveted the dragon pearl she used to save him. He pursued her relentlessly, finally winning her hand. She even bore him a son, and for a time, the three of them lived happily together. To consolidate his power, Lu Xianyuan arranged a marriage with the Fox Demon clan, successfully ascending to the throne of Demon King. The dragon woman, heartbroken, decided to reclaim her dragon pearl and leave Myriad Demon City. In that moment, she could only leave, tears silently streaming down her face. The Demon King grabbed her shoulders and roared. The marriage with the Fox Demon clan was arranged long ago. I've only ever loved you. How many times do I have to say it? Don't be so unreasonable. The machinations of the court are far more complex than you think. She retorted, if you love me, then return the dragon pearl. The words had barely left her mouth when he raised his hand and struck her hard across the face. He continued to rage, return it to you. Do you think I would have married you if it weren't for this damn dragon pearl? She cried out in pain, that hurts. By then, Lu Xianyuan had already used the dragon pearl's power to achieve a breakthrough in his cultivation. Without the dragon pearl's protection, the dragon woman was no match for him. One day, he began to cast a spell. The Demon King sealed the dragon pearl and imprisoned the dragon woman beneath Jade Wave Lake, using chains to corrode her. Her condition deteriorated, and, at the same time, Lu Xianyuan began to suffer the same pain, though he didn't understand why. Only recently did he learn the truth. In this tense moment, a figure cloaked in black appeared, saying, Your Majesty, are you unaware that you and the dragon woman are bound by a pact through the dragon pearl? That is why you feel each other's pain. The only way to break it is to use the two-direction spring. Having heard all of this, Lu Cheng couldn't contain his fury. Frowning, he demanded, destroying Dragonscale Valley, sealing the dragon pearl at the well's mouth, feigning illness. Was it all you? You old fool. I can't believe you're this kind of person. From a distance, Ling Dao softly asked, Who is that cloaked figure? Why do they mention the two-direction spring? Lu Cheng replied in a low voice. That cloaked figure was the one who told me the two directions spring could save my father. Even now, the identity of the cloaked figure remained a mystery. All that was known was that they could see Ling Dao through a crystal ball. Just then, a voice broke the tense atmosphere. Your Majesty, you're alive. Duan Fei rushed in, but her tone instantly shifted. Dragon woman, why are you here? Ling Dao, seeing her, could only feel a headache coming on. Ugh, the drama queen has finally arrived. The Demon King was not pleased to see her either. He snapped, You have the nerve to show your face before me. Duan Fei was stunned. Your Majesty. Before she could finish, he slapped her hard, sending her sprawling to the ground. I was just about to settle the score with you, and you delivered yourself right to my doorstep. She lay on the ground, sobbing dramatically. How could you? Suddenly, her demon core began to glow, then cracked with a sharp snap. She reverted to her original form, a pitiful little fox. Witnessing this, Lu Cheng couldn't help but cry out, What are you doing? She's still your concubine. The Demon King simply glared at him darkly. So what if I killed her? She was nothing but a stepping stone to my throne. Shen Wu and Ling Dao watched the scene unfold with cold eyes. Shen Wu remained expressionless, arms crossed, completely unmoved. Ling Dao, however, covered her mouth, her face filled with shock. The demon core was the culmination of centuries of a demon's cultivation. Once shattered, all their power vanished. Even if Duan Fei was ambitious, this ending was too cruel, especially at the hands of the one she loved. Ling Dao glanced at Shen Wu, thinking, these two are both villains, but at least Shen Wu is upfront about it. If he wants to kill you, he'll kill you. He wouldn't be as insidious and two-faced as this guy. The tension between Lu Cheng and the Demon King escalated. He shouted at them, why? Why do you always make the same mistakes? The Demon King retorted, mistakes. What mistakes have I made? Was it wrong to save my own life? Was it wrong to revitalize the demon clan? Was it wrong to stabilize the court? Was it wrong to have an heir with the dragon clan bloodline? Lu Cheng declared, I'd rather not be the young lord, not inherit Myriad Demon City. I'd rather be just an ordinary raccoon cat than become a cold-hearted person like you. I'm taking Anyang and my friends and leaving this place. Before he could finish, he was struck hard across the face. You useless waste. You're not even as good as your 10-year-old brother. Worthless. Lu Cheng collapsed to the ground, blood gushing from his abdomen. The dragon woman rushed to his side. Ling Dao yelled furiously. Even a tiger wouldn't eat its own cub. How could you attack your own flesh and blood? She gritted her teeth and raised her arm again. Just as Ling Dao sensed something amiss, she shouted, wait, that's Shen Wu. She jumped in front of Ling Dao. Whoosh, an attack slashed down diagonally from above. Shen Wu spun around abruptly. Realizing the danger, he shoved Ling Dao aside. Run! Boom! A burst of fire exploded before her eyes. She screamed in terror, senior brother. The flames gradually died down, and the Demon King slowly approached. Shen Wu cursed under his breath. Damn it, ice magic. The dragon woman stared at him in horror as his body became encased in ice. The Demon King walked up to her, standing beside Shen Wu, preparing to strike. Shen Wu trembled all over. The Demon King gave her a cold smile. He's important to you, isn't he, little girl? Use your divination obediently, or I'll turn him into fertilizer for the bottom of a well. Ling Dao raised her staff angrily. You're heartless. You caused all of this. Why should we pay for your mistakes? She unleashed her power, emerald green vines beginning to spread. Even if you kill me today, I will still uphold justice. Her vines lunged toward his magic, but he just scoffed. After all this is over, I'll find a way to control the two-direction spring. Ling Dao's power was gradually suppressed, his magic consuming her. He said disdainfully, as for you, go keep my useless son company. Shen Wu clenched his jaw, his arm reaching out with force. Blood spurted out. Ling Dao's eyes widened, her face pale as a ghost. Shen Wu embraced her, using his body to shield her from the incoming shards of ice. All the shards pierced his back. He held her tightly, saying with difficulty, I told you I would protect you. As soon as he finished speaking, he collapsed sideways. Ling Dao was terrified. Senior brother. Before losing consciousness, Shen Wu whispered, run, and then fainted. She held his face, crying her heart out. Shen Wu, what's wrong? Don't leave me. I don't want you to die. Wake up, wake up. Her eyes were blurry with tears, which continuously fell onto Shen Wu's face. Shen Wu. Just then, Shen Wu's eyes fluttered open. Tears were dripping onto his face. Is she crying? From the cracks in the ground, two kinds of plants suddenly sprouted, rapidly spreading. A memory flashed through Shen Wu's mind, being patted on the head as a child. I have removed your root of love. In this life, you cannot fall in love with anyone. Otherwise, your cultivation will be completely destroyed, and everything will be for naught. Then Ling Dao's innocent and bright smile appeared. Senior brother, is the so-called love really just an obstacle to cultivation? Will having feelings really become a great affliction? Suddenly, Meng Hongshan's face appeared with a cunning smile. Matters of love and desire are not suitable for your cultivation of the emotionless path. Black and white pieces intermingled on the chessboard. Cultivating the emotionless path, severing 3 stages, extinguishing human desires. The more emotionless, the deeper the cultivation. However, besides severing emotions and refining the heart, there might be other ways. A formation appeared on the chessboard. The emotionless path can also be transformed into the path of cultivating emotions. As long as 2 hearts are in harmony and their intentions are connected, they can break through the realm. But if the other party is emotionless, the deeper one falls, the heavier the backlash, until their cultivation is completely destroyed and their soul is scattered. Just like that, facing Shen Wu's calm and serious face, he asked, do you dare to gamble? Ling Dao's breath grew weaker and weaker. Darkness suddenly enveloped her. Her strength was draining, and her whole body was exhausted. Even with the power of the Golden Peak staff and the two-direction spring, she was still no match for him. How could this guy be so strong? In the original story, he barely had any screen time. Suddenly, a storm raged, and he began to attack, scaring her half to death. Dream on. Do you think you can win against me with your measly cat-scratching skills? She couldn't help but think that ever since she appeared, the plot had gone completely haywire. Is this the butterfly effect? The Demon King reached out and choked her neck, making it impossible for her to breathe. He tightened his fingers, his face devoid of pity, and roared enough. At the same time, she closed her eyes in pain. It hurts. I'm so tired. Shen Wu rushed over frantically. As for Ling Dao, in her final moments, 1,000 questions filled her mind, a mixture of anger, heartache, and fear. He picked her up, completely panicked, with only one thought left in his mind, Ling Dao. The Demon King was stunned by the scene before him. He gently set her down. He had never felt this way before. Suddenly, he realized he had changed. I've never been afraid of anything, but now I'm actually scared. I'm afraid she'll die. Shen Wu slowly drew his sword, his gaze firm. I will never allow that to happen. He didn't say a word, charging forward like a whirlwind. The Demon King didn't retreat, seizing the opportunity to strike at him. You ignorant fool, he roared, eyes bloodshot, teeth gritted as he countered. What was happening? How did he suddenly become so strong? His expression was one of vengeance as he gripped his sword tightly. You dared to hurt her. I won't let you die peacefully. With that, he unleashed a fierce blow, blazing inferno. The force of the blow felt as if heaven and earth were collapsing, as if everything would explode. The Demon King was sent flying, truly shaken by the attack. The Demon King coughed up blood. Gah! He looked at his hands, thinking, this power, it's the complete opposite of spiritual energy. The ice elsewhere began to melt. The dragon woman said worriedly, the ice is melting. It seems Lu Changyuan can no longer maintain the formation. She gently embraced Lu Cheng. Cheng! She softly called out Cheng, her heart breaking as she held him close and wept. Why? Why is heaven so cruel to us? I waited so long, finally seeing you grow up, just reunited, and now I have to endure the pain of a parent burying their child. She bit her lip. There's only one way left. The dragon woman's voice was filled with sorrow. Cheng, mother can't stay with you any longer. You must live a healthy and happy life. Do you hear me? Lu Cheng suddenly transformed into his human form. The dragon woman said softly, healthy and happy is all that matters. Hearing her voice, he immediately opened his eyes and cried out, Mother. He grasped her hand excitedly. Mother, I finally found you again. I shouldn't have let you die. Why did you sacrifice yourself for me? I don't want this. Mother, I want you to be healthy and happy too. The dragon woman smiled gently and comforted him. Cheng, you are my happiness. Lu Cheng hugged her tightly, tears streaming down his face. Mother, come back. Please come back. The dragon woman shed her last tears, heartbroken by fate. Then, her figure gradually dissipated. At the same time, he was also holding her in anguish. Ling Dao, I don't want this. Absolutely not. If I were stronger, she wouldn't have been hurt by that blow. It's all because I'm too weak to protect her. Watching this scene, Abba Yunmiao stood inside, looking out and whispering, a person is not a plant. He sat there, filled with self-reproach. Yes, a person is not a plant. How can they be without feelings? Did I understand too late? At this moment, Lu Cheng approached with a worried expression. Is there really no other way? He didn't answer. Suddenly, something flew over, attracting Shen Wu's attention. Just then, a green light appeared beside her, the being continuously releasing energy. It coiled around Ling Dao. Shen Wu and Lu Cheng watched nervously. He said, this is the power of the Tu Yi spring. He replied, it won't save her. Perhaps it's imitating your mother. He slowly raised the spring spirit, his eyes shining with joy. Thank you, spring spirit. Lu Cheng said happily. Great. Ling Dao should be all right now, right? Shen Wu carefully examined her. Let me see her divine sense. Shen Wu placed his hand on her forehead to check and was immediately startled. He withdrew his hand and exclaimed, no, her spiritual energy is abundant. But why is her divine soul so unstable? Meng Tianshu said with a gloomy face. Ling Dao's injuries are too severe. My medical skills are of no help. Zhao Xuanyi tried to comfort him. Hey, big brother is here. Senior sister Ling will be fine. I believe in her. Shen Wu was still checking her divine soul, but Lu Cheng was extremely anxious. This won't save Ling Dao. The dragon woman was also distressed, rushing over to ask, didn't you say Kwang Kwang gave her his power? Why hasn't she woken up yet? He remained motionless as he explained, Ling Dao's spiritual veins are severed. Fortunately, Kwang Kwang helped, allowing her spiritual energy to circulate again. But her divine soul is severely damaged. At this rate, her divine soul will dissipate. Even with abundant spiritual energy, it's useless. It was all for nothing. He muttered in self-blame, filled with guilt. It's all my fault. Lu Cheng was consumed by self-reproach. I didn't know anything. I just wanted to save that person. If I hadn't entered the inverse realm, if I hadn't foolishly brought the Tu-Yi spring in, Ling Dao wouldn't be like this, and Mother wouldn't. Suddenly, Zhao Xuanyi had a flash of inspiration. Wait, I remember an ancient book at home that recorded a soul-nourishing secret technique. This formation can repair the divine soul, and even allow one to briefly enter another's divine sense space. However, a cultivator's divine sense space is extremely private, making it difficult for outsiders to enter. It also requires immense willpower and resistance. If one fails, they will also be injured. He said without hesitation, if it can bring her back to life, then try it. He remained gloomy, head bowed, his expression sorrowful. Ling Dao seemed lost in an endless void, her eyes tightly closed, surrounded by darkness. Am I dead? Is this what it feels like after death? It's so strange. Where is everyone else? Is Lu Cheng dead too? What about Shen Wu? Shen Wu protected me so many times. He's actually not a bad person at all. Deep down, he's good. Ling Dao touched her face, sighing. It was so good to know him, to be with him. Before he changed, she thought she was going to die, yet she was still thinking of others. I wonder how he is doing now. I haven't lived enough in this world yet, and most importantly, I haven't had the chance to spend the money I earned. Ling Dao felt reluctant to leave this world. It would be such a pity to die just like this. Will anyone be sad for me? She looked up at the large door above, puzzled. Where am I? Is this where you go after death? Ling Dao slowly walked towards the door, thinking as she went, I didn't realize I liked him this much. Then, a figure appeared before her eyes, startling her. It was Shen Wu. Even the last glimmer of light took his form. Even though it was just an image in her mind, he looked exactly the same as in reality, gently saying to her, give me your hand. She stepped closer to him. Even the last vestiges of light were his figure. He seemed to be making a promise. I will heal you. These words brought a blush to Ling Dao's cheeks, making her feel shy and weak, and she fell into his arms. Do you think my body is strange? Yes, because this is your spiritual consciousness space. Your divine soul is severely injured and must be repaired immediately. The more she listened, the more unbelievable it seemed. She pinched herself hard. Senior brother, are you saving me? I must be dreaming. The image of them holding hands and transferring spiritual energy flashed through her mind. Ling Dao's cheeks flushed, her body trembling. She thought shyly, why do I feel waves of pleasure? My whole body is numb. It hurts a little, but it feels so good when he touches me. Ling Dao sat there, looking at every line on his face. Is this the legendary connection of divine souls? Then she glanced at Shen Wu's alluring lips. His lips looked soft, just like last time. I really want to kiss them. She sat up straight, her spiritual consciousness gradually recovering. Suddenly, she opened her eyes and found that her lips were only a hair's breadth away from Shen Wu's. Ling Dao cried out in surprise, her face as red as a ripe tomato. She stammered, you what was going on? Shen Wu calmly replied, you're awake. It's good that you're awake. He stood there with his long hair draped around him, his figure strikingly attractive. He said indifferently, don't misunderstand. You were seriously injured and need to recuperate in a medicinal pool. Shen Wu called her over in a low voice. Come here. The healing isn't finished yet. The blush on her face didn't fade at all. Instead, it deepened. Does this mean we have to enter my spiritual consciousness space again? He took a step closer, placing his hand on the back of her neck, and smirked. It's not up to you. Then, only her voice could be heard. The next morning, in the spacious and bright dormitory courtyard, Meng Tianshu's panicked voice rang out. Ling Dao, my dear junior sister, it's so good that you're all right. She hugged her beloved junior sister, her eyes reddening with emotion, her voice hoarse as she said, "You really scare me to death. You slept for a whole day, and I thought you would never wake up." Ling Dao gently patted her back to comfort her, coaxing her with a smile. All right, I'm fine now, aren't I? Don't cry, don't cry." After her emotions calmed down a bit, Meng Tianshu finally sat back in her chair, one hand tightly gripping Ling Dao's icy hand, the other wiping away tears. She lowered her head and said sadly, "I'm sorry, I couldn't help it all. Your spiritual energy was exhausted, and your divine soul was injured. If it weren't for Spring Spirit giving you all of her cultivation, and Senior Brother secretly transferring his spiritual energy to you, I'm afraid you would have." Hearing this, Ling Dao asked in surprise for me. She couldn't help but think to herself, Spring Spirit, and even that big villain who will kill me in the future. She felt a pang of guilt. For so long, she had always felt like an outsider, always wanting to escape, but in their eyes, she was an important member. At this point, Meng Tianshu suddenly became irritated, complaining, "The formation Zhao Shuni gave us was indeed useful, but what exactly did Senior Brother do? Those two just refused to tell me." Strangely, Ling Dao's face flushed red. She quickly turned her head away, as if avoiding something, stammering, I don't really know either." Meng Tianshu sighed softly, seemingly unconcerned about being kept in the dark. Resuming his usual cheerful demeanor, he hopped off the bed and said, "All right, I'll go make you some porridge and let Lu Qing know. He just took over as city lord and is incredibly busy, so he'll be thrilled to know you're awake." Before he could finish, Lu Qing pushed the door open and continued his sentence, "Thrilled, of course. I've been looking forward to the day you recovered. Seeing you're almost fully healed, I can finally relax." Upon seeing him, Ling Dao tilted her head slightly and called out, "Lu Qing." Then, as if remembering something, she offered her congratulations with a beaming smile. "So much has happened these past few days. We even fought when we first met, and now you're the city lord. Congratulations." Lu Qing responded with a humble smile. "There's nothing to congratulate me for. It's just that for the sake of the people of Myriad Demon City, I must shoulder this responsibility." Ling Dao smiled, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "With you in charge, I believe Myriad Demon City will only prosper." She didn't notice the particularly gentle look in Lu Qing's eyes as he watched her. Meanwhile, on the way to Ling Dao's room, Zhao Shuni anxiously pestered Shen Wu. "Senior Brother, is it true? Did the sect master really say that?" Shen Wu merely coughed twice, avoiding a direct answer. Zhao Shuni then realized they had unknowingly arrived at Ling Dao's door. He stopped his questioning and turned to address the three people inside. "Junior Sister Ling, you're finally awake. As expected of our Senior Brother, I knew he could activate that formation and save you." Ling Dao's face flushed crimson again, embarrassed to the point of wanting to disappear into the floor as the topic was brought up repeatedly. Mu Huaiqiu walked up to Zhao Shuni, curiosity evident in her question. "Everyone mentioned the sect master just now. Did something happen?" This time, Zhao Shuni didn't hide anything and nodded honestly. "Disciples from various sects have been encountering accidents recently, and we haven't found any clues. The sect master is worried about our safety and wants us to return immediately." Hearing this news, Ling Dao froze slightly. She thought to herself, I vaguely remember this. Zhao Shuni will be framed as the culprit, his demonic cultivator identity exposed, becoming a target for the entire cultivation world. The soul-devouring lotus will take advantage of this and attach itself to Shen Wu, triggering another war between immortals and demons. If I can find the real culprit and clear Zhao Shuni's name, the soul-devouring lotus won't fall into Shen Wu's hands, and perhaps he won't fall to the demonic path. Shen Wu glanced at the contemplative girl and turned to Lu Qing. Ling Dao's injuries are healed, and we should depart immediately. Farewell. Take care. Lu Qing replied, leaving so soon. I wanted everyone to stay a few more days, but I'm afraid I'm too busy with official matters to entertain you properly. With time pressing, Lu Qing also prepared to leave. He turned to Ling Dao and offered an awkward smile. I'll definitely invite everyone over again next time. Knowing she had caused him considerable trouble, Ling Dao simply smiled faintly. All right, I haven't fully explored Myriad Demon City yet. I'm sure we'll meet again. In the distance, Shen Wu, without uttering a word, frowned in displeasure, thinking to himself, she wants to come again. A few days later, in Mu Huaiqiu's residence in Four Symbols Heaven, the master watched her disciple's actions with surprise. My good disciple, show me that again. Ling Dao didn't reply, but gently exhaled a breath of emerald green spiritual energy. The wisp of energy drifted in the air before finally landing on the edge of a clay pot and quietly dissipating. In less than a minute, a tender green sprout emerged from the previously bare clay pot. It grew at an almost unbelievable speed, quickly becoming a fruit tree laden with ripe fruit. Witnessing this scene, even the experienced Mu Huaiqiu couldn't help but exclaim, she became like this after waking up. With just a breath, it's as if the seeds understand your words. To be able to use growth technique to this extent, even the strongest cultivators in the world would find it hard to match. This is truly a heaven-sent gift. As soon as she finished speaking, she reached out and plucked a fruit from the tree. Then, turning around, she addressed Shen Wu with a solemn tone. This situation is unprecedented. Take me to consult the ancient texts. But Shen Wu suggested, before the situation becomes clear, it's best for Ling Dao to remain within the inner sect for cultivation. If anything unusual happens, we can address it immediately. Besides, the sect master also wishes to see her, having heard about Ling Dao's situation. The request wasn't unreasonable, and Mu Huaiqiu nodded with a smile. Then I'll have to trouble you to take care of my troublesome disciple. Shen Wu merely offered a faint smile, not looking at Ling Dao, whose cheeks were flushed a delicate pink. This is my responsibility. Mu Huaiqiu appeared happy on the surface, but inwardly, she was quite annoyed. I've always felt Shen Wu's intentions towards my little disciple weren't simple. Now it seems I was right. It's perfectly clear. Just as Shen Wu was about to step out the door and leave completely, Ling Dao called out, stopping him. Master, I don't want to go to the border. I've already made other arrangements. Looking down at the leaf in her hand, she thought, if I go to the border, it will be even harder to escape. Although Shen Wu's attitude toward me has changed a lot, what if the ending remains the same? The most important thing now is to find the murderer in the soul-devouring lotus. Mu Huaiqiu asked with a playful smile, what arrangements? Ling Dao narrowed her eyes and replied with a smile, it's a secret, but it won't affect our master-disciple relationship. Don't worry, master. But Mu Huaiqiu knew Ling Dao too well. Jealousy welled up in her heart. Frowning and pursing her lips, she thought, relationship. The one beside you probably has a much better relationship with you. Shen Wu had been standing quietly outside the door. After a moment of silence, he turned and walked back into the room. Shen Wu gently took Ling Dao's small hand. No rush, he said. The moon is beautiful tonight. Let's go for a walk. Without waiting for Mu Huaiqiu to object, he politely added, Master Mu, I'll borrow your disciple for a while. He then summoned a giant white wolf and pulled Ling Dao onto its back with him. Watching the two disappear into the night sky on the white wolf, Mu Huaiqiu couldn't help but sigh, her heart heavy. Alas, a grown daughter is like spilled water. Who can understand this feeling? Just as Shen Wu had said, the moon was truly beautiful tonight, and the stars were shining exceptionally bright. Ling Dao hopped onto a swing. Ling Dao finally spoke. Can I come here? Shen Wu replied with a gentle smile. I usually cultivate here. It's very quiet, and no one knows about it. Ling Dao didn't notice the deeper meaning in his words, only saying with a bright smile, the night view here is truly beautiful. Shen Wu looked at her sweet smile, mesmerized, and softly replied, He asked, do you like looking at the stars? Ling Dao reached out towards the sky, spreading her palm and letting the moonlight filter through her fingers. I rarely got to see the stars before, especially a sky full of them like this. It feels like I could reach out and pluck one. Shen Wu suppressed the ache in his heart and feigned a mysterious air. Really? He said, then snapped his fingers. Instantly, the night sky, already adorned with the moon and stars, was filled with even more floating lanterns, their flames flickering. Ling Dao was naturally surprised and delighted, gazing up at the beautiful sight. She couldn't help but exclaim, wow. Seeing the bright, happy smile on his beloved's face, Shen Wu couldn't help but feel content and proud. I can't pluck real stars, he said with a playful smile, but I can grab a few of these fake ones for you to play with. As he spoke, he conjured another lantern and handed it to Ling Dao. Ling Dao solemnly accepted the lantern from Shen Wu, her eyes curving into crescents as she smiled. Suddenly remembering something from the past, she teased him playfully. Didn't you used to say you didn't believe in these wishing things? Although Shen Wu had indeed said that, he now appeared unfazed, his tone even. Looking directly into Ling Dao's eyes, he explained with a gentle smile, "It's not that I don't believe in them, but if one lives with a clear conscience, why pray to gods and Buddhas? Unfortunately, even the most devout prayers are ultimately useless. Nothing in this world is up to us." Ling Dao giggled. "Zhao Shuani and I used to fantasize about releasing sky lanterns. Now we've finally done it. It feels like a dream." Ling Dao released the lantern into the air with her own hands. Shen Wu watched her with tenderness in his eyes. "Of course," he said, "as long as I'm here, no one will dare to do anything to you." Ling Dao was touched. "Shen Wu," she whispered, "thank you for always being my friend." Shen Wu suddenly remembered something and lowered his head. "That time I hid in your Ling Manor, you saved me. There are some things you don't know yet. Only cultivators above the nascent soul stage possess a spirit mansion." He continued to explain, "To reach the golden core stage, one must first go through the core formation, solid core, and core transformation stages. Only after forming the golden core can one transform into a nascent soul and possess a spirit mansion. Back then, in Myriad Demon City, your cultivation hadn't reached the core formation stage yet." Ling Dao was puzzled. "What do you mean? Is my cultivation higher than nascent soul? If that's true, wouldn't I be more powerful than you? How is that possible?" Shen Wu seemed to see through her thoughts. Instead of answering directly, he offered some advice. "You've never encountered this situation before, so it's understandable that you don't know. Before you discover your own abilities, it's best to cultivate as a beginner. Perhaps you'll find a solution that way." Ling Dao nodded, closed her eyes, and stroked her chin in thought. "The dual polar spring and yin-yang spring can help me reach the nascent soul stage, but they're also like ticking time bombs. I don't know if there will be any after effects. If I already possess the power of the dual polar spring, and I change my cultivation method before the immortal demon war, I wonder if I can avoid that calamity." Shen Wu felt the timing was right and spoke frankly. "At this stage, I have a responsibility to guide you. If anything happens, were you free? Let's establish a contract." He even turned his head cautiously and asked, "I don't know what you think." He seemed afraid Ling Dao would refuse. Unexpectedly, Ling Dao readily agreed, thinking it was a good thing. After all, entering the sect required a contract, so there was no problem. She just wondered why she needed to establish a contract with Shen Wu. Seeing Ling Dao agree, Shen Wu happily turned to look at her and smiled. "Good, then I'll go directly to your house another day. Are your parents home? Do you have any siblings?" It sounded like he was about to meet her parents. Ling Dao couldn't help but smile and replied, "I've been an orphan since I was young. I don't have any family, so you don't have to go through so much trouble. As long as Master agrees, it's fine." Shen Wu nodded on the surface, a smile playing on his lips, and continued, "Then I'll go to the Four Symbols Heaven another day." But in his heart, he was racking his brains on how to persuade them and get her parents' consent, even finding a matchmaker. Although Master Mu Huaiqiu wasn't very reliable, she was good to Ling Dao, so getting her approval was equivalent to getting her parents' approval. Hearing him say this, Ling Dao couldn't help but be surprised and blurted out, "Huh, didn't Master already agree?" Unexpectedly, Shen Wu's reaction was even more surprised. He asked blankly, "Already agreed, but I haven't even mentioned it." Ling Dao frowned. "I heard you already asked, Master." Shen Wu vaguely felt something fishy was going on and inwardly lamented. This little fox has sharp ears. No wonder she agreed so quickly. Seeing Shen Wu's expression change slightly, Ling Dao worried that she had said something wrong and cautiously asked, "Did I say something wrong? Do we really need to establish a contract?" Shen Wu crossed his arms and asked back, "What contract? Say that again. Are you mistaken?" Ling Dao replied, "Isn't it the entrance contract? But I don't understand. Why do I need to sign it with you? Aren't you going to be my guide?" For some reason, Shen Wu suddenly replied with some excitement, "Yes, I will guide you. I will personally guide you." Unfortunately, Ling Dao didn't notice anything unusual. To make sure she hadn't heard wrong, she seriously continued to ask, but you're only at the nascent soul stage, is that okay?" She just felt something was amiss. Even so, Ling Dao clasped her hands together and said cheerfully, "Are there any tips for nascent soul cultivation? Please guide me in the future, Senior Brother Shen Wu." Shen Wu muttered, "The cultivation methods and techniques will be taught by the sect master and the elders. For daily cultivation and miscellaneous matters, just follow me." Ling Dao obediently replied, yes, Senior Brother, Rest assured, I will definitely study hard. Through this incident, her view of Shen Wu had also changed somewhat. Senior brother was really different now. Hearing this gentle voice, seeing these kind eyes, this concern, it was as if he was stealing her heart. In the original plot, Shen Wu was corrupted by the soul-devouring lotus. But this ancient treasure was also the target that Zhao Xuanyi had been painstakingly searching for. The soul-devouring lotus was a lotus that could devour souls. Ling Dao stroked her chin again and thought, I need to reconsider Zhao Xuanyi's previous suggestion and also Shen Wu. Looking at the sky full of sky lanterns and twinkling stars, Ling Dao had her own plans in mind. Originally, she didn't want to get involved in the conflicts between the main characters, but now she couldn't stay out of it. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but feel a little sad and worried. I really like these characters. In my eyes, they're not just a few lines of soulless words on paper, but real people, my friends, my fellow disciples. But what should I do to ensure everyone has a happy ending? Time flew by, and before she knew it, it was the next morning. At the registration area, Meng Tianshu handed a piece of paper to Ling Dao and smiled. All right, from today onwards, you're my junior sister. We medical cultivators are of one heart, so if you have anything, just tell me directly. Ling Dao gratefully took the paper and replied, Thank you, senior sister. Shen Wu stood beside her, also happy for her, and gently reminded, the inner sect is different from the outer sect. If anything happens while you're with me, tell me immediately. Don't bother others. Ling Dao nodded obediently. Thank you, senior brother. Suddenly, a girl ran over, panting, Senior brother, master is looking for you. Seeming to be in a hurry, Shen Wu ignored the girl's admiring gaze and focused on Ling Dao, smiling. Go take a look around. See you this afternoon. Ling Dao smiled back. Take care, senior brother. This rare, gentle, and warm side of Shen Wu was a first for the brown-haired girl, making her wonder what kind of person could make her senior brother act so human. Looking at the two interacting so intimately, Meng Tianshu excitedly called out, Senior brother sent me. He knew he would be busy and wouldn't have time to look after you. Come on, I'll show you around. Suddenly remembering something, Meng Tianshu rummaged through her belongings and took out a red jade bracelet, offering it to Ling Dao. All right, this yellow rank bracelet is for you. Just a small token, don't mind it. Perhaps knowing that refusing was pointless, Ling Dao accepted the gift somewhat awkwardly and returned a gift to Meng Tianshu. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare anything, but please accept this ginseng. Meng Tianshu was startled by the gift. I only gave a yellow rank artifact, and she actually gave me something so valuable in return. The girls eavesdropping nearby couldn't help but whisper amongst themselves. That ginseng is so big, such a precious thing, given away so easily. Spiritual plants are extremely rare in the cultivation world, and such ginseng could fetch a sky-high price on the black market. Just what was the background of these two girls? Ling Dao put on the yellow rank jade bracelet Meng Tianshu gave her, her eyes curving into crescents. It's so beautiful. Thank you, senior sister Meng. If you ever need anything, I can grow it for you. But Meng Tianshu wasn't greedy and waved her hands repeatedly. That's enough. That's enough. Ginseng is difficult to grow. It takes years to mature, and it can die easily. Where did you get this? Ling Dao didn't hide it and pointed it out to Meng Tianshu. There are many small apothecaries in Four Symbols Heaven now. You can buy them anytime, as long as you have the money. Meng Tianshu was overjoyed and suggested, then I'll go back and introduce you to some buyers. We have a new class this semester that requires refining a lot of pills. I'll buy directly from you from now on. This was undoubtedly a very profitable deal, and Ling Dao immediately nodded in agreement. Okay, we'll split the profits 20/80ths. Thinking about the money she would soon earn, she also became excited. Great, I didn't expect to be able to do long-term business here. Suddenly, someone called out to Meng Tianshu through a transmission talisman, announcing, by order of the first elder, all disciples who have received the order are to immediately gather at the Bipolar Plaza. Seeing Ling Dao looking at her curiously, Meng Tianshu explained, the bipolar order is only issued when the sect faces an emergency. Upon hearing the bipolar order, everyone must gather immediately, without delay. Let's go and see what happened. In less than 10 minutes, Meng Hongshan, Shen Wu, and others appear before the crowd in the vast bipolar plaza. Meng Hongshan stepped forward as a representative and announced loudly, it's very rude to summon everyone so suddenly, but I have to announce some extremely bad news. Just 30 minutes ago, Ling Dao has passed away. Hearing this, Meng Tianshu and Zhao Shuani, who were in the same group as Ling Dao, showed expressions of shock and worry. Only Ling Dao looked blank, as she didn't know who Ling Dao was. Fortunately, Meng Hongshan put his hands behind his back and continued to explain, "You may not be familiar with Ling Dao. He was optimistic, humorous, enthusiastic, and hardworking. He was a genius who was extremely strict with himself and also a good friend of ours." Despite Meng Hongshan's praise, the image that surfaced in Ling Dao's mind was that of a violent person wielding a broomstick to beat people. Shen Wu, Meng Tianshu, and Zhao Shuni were probably very familiar with him, so they didn't show much emotion. Meng Hongshan stroked his beard and coughed, continuing, "You might be more familiar with his other identity. He was the cleaning Taoist of our scripture library. But he had another identity, the number 1 sword cultivator of Zhongyang, who had already successfully undergone his tribulation." Hearing this, Ling Dao's eyes widened. Successfully undergone his tribulation. Doesn't that mean he ascended to immortality, according to the legends? Meng Hongshan continued, "According to the investigation, Ling Dao was assassinated. We suspect that someone from the demonic domain infiltrated the sect during the new disciple's entrance and poisoned him. However, very few people at the scene believed this statement, and murmurs arose. What? How was that possible? A cultivator who has undergone tribulation was killed on his own territory without anyone noticing. How terrifying must the perpetrator's cultivation be? At this moment, Meng Hongshan's junior brother beside him suddenly reminded him, "Senior brother, directly revealing such a significant matter will cause panic and might alert the culprit." But Meng Hongshan had a different opinion. He calmly replied, "They have the right to know and the right to protect themselves. We can die for the Tao, but we cannot be assassinated without reason. If we conceal this, and it leads to countless unjust deaths, neither you nor I can escape responsibility." After saying this, Meng Hongshan lowered his head and said solemnly, "We will conduct a thorough investigation next. I apologize for the disturbance and ask for your understanding." His words and actions were quite different from what Ling Dao had expected. She nodded to herself, thinking, the higher the position, the less acceptable one's failures and weaknesses are, and the less one can let others discover and question them. A satisfied smile appeared on her lips. However, it was clear that sect leader Meng Hongshan didn't have such thoughts. He treated all disciples equally and impartially, which was truly admirable. After receiving everyone's acknowledgement, Meng Hongshan finally announced, "Dismissed." On their way back, Meng Tianshu suddenly remembered something important. She turned to Ling Dao and said, "I'll go find my grandfather first to clarify the situation. Don't wander around. Wait for your senior brother to come find you." Ling Dao obediently replied, "Okay." But as soon as she turned her head, she noticed Ling Huan acting suspiciously and evasively. As expected, Ling Dao immediately threw Meng Tianshu's instructions to the back of her mind and walked towards Ling Huan without hesitation. She approached and said, "You've been watching me the whole time, haven't you? Why were you staring at me?" Caught off guard, the muscles in Ling Huan's face twitched uncontrollably, revealing obvious evasion and embarrassment. He still stammered in denial. I wasn't trying to look at you. I'm sorry." Ling Dao thought to herself, could this guy have social anxiety? She said, "I know this is rude." Ling Huan panicked at her words. "You might think it's nothing, but it's really important to me. Your shoes weren't worn properly. One was wrinkled and the other was low. It made me feel extremely uncomfortable, like I couldn't breathe and my mind couldn't function. If I kept looking, I would die. Could you please fix them?" Hearing this, Ling Dao adjusted her shoes and let him check. Then she asked, "Is this okay now?" Even Ling Huan himself felt helpless. "Thank you. You're the first person who hasn't asked too many questions, respected my opinion, and hasn't looked at me strangely or made fun of me. I have mixed feelings right now." Ling Dao smiled gently at him. "It's nothing. We're all fellow disciples. You don't have to be so polite. If there's anything else that makes you uncomfortable in the future, just tell me directly." "I understand." At this moment, Shen Wu saw them talking and suddenly realized something. "Oh, so it's this game?" Shen Wu didn't understand and asked what. He said, "The person next to the newcomer has good aptitude. Keep an eye on her and take her with you to investigate the case when you have time." Meanwhile, Ling Dao was still chatting amiably with Ling Huan. "Since we're all fellow disciples now, we must get along well." Someone coughed twice to get their attention. "Ahem." She saw it was Shen Wu and called out happily, "Senior brother, you're here." But he said coldly, "Disciple, state your name." Hearing this, Ling Huan nervously stammered, "Greetings, senior brother. My name is Ling Huan." Shen Wu crossed his arms and replied coldly, "I will be teaching you the basics of cultivation for a while. Follow me to Tianji Peak. We'll begin immediately." Ling Huan immediately replied, "Thank you, senior brother." "Thank you, senior brother." Afterwards, Ling Dao asked, "Don't we need to investigate Li Yindao's case anymore?" Shen Wu gently told her, "According to the elder's judgment, the person behind this is likely killing based on gender. If that's true, the people on Dragon Tooth Island might be in danger. We'll depart for Dragon Tooth Island tomorrow." Thus, the three quickly arrived at Dragon Tooth Island and began their first cultivation trial. Shen Wu condensed spiritual energy in his hand and reminded them, "I'll start with a simple test to understand your true strength. Basic techniques are very important. You all must understand this. Today, I'll teach you a move called Qi Transformation Sword." He immediately demonstrated it once. "I'll only do this once. You're all new disciples, so it's impossible to instantly transform spiritual energy into sword Qi. The first step is to accumulate spiritual power in your dantian." As the sword form gradually appeared, Shen Wu explained, "After accumulating, try to transform it into a sword." Seeing this, Ling Dao excitedly said, "Let me try." She focused her spiritual power and began to gather qi. Unfortunately, she only managed to condense a small flower bud. Seeing this, Ling Huan couldn't help but chuckle. Ling Dao was a little embarrassed, her face flushing red. She huffed and shouted, "You try." Ling Huan didn't make everyone wait long and immediately did as she said. He gathered a streak of red spiritual energy between his hands. It was unexpectedly a beautiful fire attribute spiritual power. Ling Dao exclaimed happily, "Wow." But this state didn't last long. In a blink of an eye, the flow of fire attribute spiritual energy disappeared as if it had never existed, leaving both of them disappointed. Ling Huan said dejectedly, "I'm too weak. I really can't do it." Shen Wu consoled him, "It's all right. Cultivation requires gradual progress. You can't rush it. However, neither of you will have the opportunity to participate in the Jianghua tournament on April 4th this year. Every year on this day, each Immortal Palace selects their 10 most outstanding new disciples to compete. The top 3 disciples can obtain spiritual treasures brought by various sects." Shen Wu continued, "Since the tournament began, the top-ranked disciples have always been from our True Yang Sword sect. Last year, it was Zhao Xuanyi." Ling Dao felt the pressure mount. The male protagonist, as expected, is no ordinary person. He won't miss any opportunity to showcase his talent. Ling Huan remained silent, making Ling Dao a little puzzled. Just then, they suddenly heard Meng Tianshu's voice, "Dao Dao." She rushed over, her face full of worry, and asked Shen Wu directly, "Senior brother, will anything major happen this year? Grandfather told me that disciples from various sects participating in the Jianghua tournament have been frequently encountering trouble recently." Tianshu's expression turned grave as she continued. "The senior disciple of the Golden Cicada Sword sect was severely injured and fell into a coma 2 days ago. The young master of the Divine Crane Palace was murdered. An elder from the Crescent Moon Sword sect died of unknown causes, and an abbot from the Comprehension Mark sect also perished." Ling Huan stroked his chin and said softly, "Judging from the information sent by the various immortal sects, the killer's methods and the victim's deaths are extremely similar. It's clearly the work of the same person." Ling Dao added worriedly, "Isn't this a warning from the killer? They're specifically targeting the major immortal sections. Isn't this a clear case of making an example of them? To cause chaos?" Meng Tianshu interjected, "Such ruthlessness, it must be the work of someone from the demonic domain. I've only heard that the demonic domain is full of crazy, dangerous, and evil people. I didn't believe it before, but I do now." However, Ling Dao began to have doubts. "I'm not sure if it's the demonic domain, but it's definitely not Zhao Xuanyi. Although Zhao Xuanyi is strong, he's definitely not a match for a half-god at the Tribulation Transcendent stage. If Zhao Xuanyi fought against true person Li Yindao, with true person Li Yindao's strength, Zhao Xuanyi wouldn't be able to appear in front of everyone unscathed." At this moment, Ling Huan suddenly spoke again. "True person Li Yindao's cultivation is unfathomable. Could it be the demon lord himself? But But Shen Wu disagreed. Absolutely impossible. The Demon Lord is extremely arrogant and conceited. If he wanted to attack the cultivation world, he wouldn't use such methods. He always acts directly and has no patience for schemes. Ling Huan still had some doubts. If it's not the Demon Lord, then who else in the demonic domain has such great ability? And all these incidents happened to sects participating in the Jianhua tournament. Could it be because of the tournament's rewards? At this moment, Ling Dao was still a little scared, thinking, according to the original story's development, the demonic domain is probably searching for the soul-devouring lotus, a spiritual treasure stolen from the demonic domain palace by the righteous path. But not necessarily. She muttered to herself, I remember the soul-devouring lotus is in the secret realm of the boundless sea, guarded by Shen Wu, and not in any immortal sect. Moreover, that thing is extremely sinister, a cursed object. The righteous path was initially worried that this treasure would greatly increase the demonic domain's power, even fearing that the demonic domain would use it to cultivate rapidly, eclipsing the righteous path. So they secretly stole the soul-devouring lotus. At this point, Ling Huan reminded Ling Dao, doesn't the Demon Lord also have an heir? Have you met them? But Ling Dao knew in her heart that she had not only met them, but also had a fairly good relationship. Zhao Shuni said firmly, the truth will come to light one day. Ling Dao also understood that Zhao Shuni wasn't an unapproachable person, but he was clearly hostile towards Ling Huan. Did these two know each other? But Zhao Shuni was from the demonic domain, and Ling Huan was just a newly initiated junior disciple. What kind of relationship could they have? She stared at Shuni for a long while, hesitating in her heart. Why does this face look so familiar, especially that strange aura? I haven't met many people in the book, so why do I feel like I know him? Time flew by quickly. In a small courtyard, a faint voice suddenly came. There are too many new disciples this year. The female disciples' rooms are all full. Shen Wu said seriously, you'll stay with me for now. This is your room. Mine is next door. Come find me if you need anything. Ling Dao was a little confused and tentatively asked, Senior brother, should I go find senior sister Ming? However, Shen Wu didn't let her go, saying decisively, have you forgotten something? We talked about my illness before. You promised to help me treat it. Hearing this, Ling Dao smiled and sat down. Come on, senior brother, sit here and take off your outer robe. Let me see. At this moment, Shen Wu's heart was in turmoil. I'm a bit insecure. My thoughts are too dark. If she knew, she would definitely hate me and never have any contact or communication with me again. Meanwhile, Ling Dao was still carefully taking Shen Wu's pulse. The moment Ling Dao took the initiative to kiss him clearly surfaced in Shen Wu's mind. The feeling of that moment made his cheeks flush. Ling Dao was right beside him, looking a little flustered. Recently, Shen Wu and I have had a lot of physical contact. It seems she's not doing so well either right now. At this moment, Ling Dao quickly patted her own face, blaming herself. The most sinful daydream of my life. He's looking at me. He likes me. What's scary isn't bad people, but good-looking and gentle people. It's really too hard to resist. Her actions made Shen Wu a little curious. So he asked, what are you doing? Is my illness contagious? But she said, no, it's well under control. The two pulse patterns aren't conflicting. It just needs more time to regulate. Everyone else worries about their own illness, but here I'm having these wild thoughts about him. I really shouldn't be like this. Hearing Ling Dao's words, he became nervous. Did my actions make you uncomfortable? If so, I apologize. Shen Wu gently stroked his chin. You know, my illness is only contagious through contact, so I've never had this kind of contact with anyone since I was young. Now that it's a little better, it's inevitable that I'd yearn for another person's warmth. Ling Dao understood the problem. Infants go through oral and tactile stages during their development, satisfying themselves by sucking, biting, grabbing, or touching objects. But Shen Wu is a special case. He must have never experienced this as a child. As a physician, I must guide him correctly. As long as he experiences enough, he won't be curious anymore. Ling Dao smiled and said, so that's it. No wonder I thought he liked me. And she said innocently, touch. This is just a normal manifestation of the tactile stage. Don't worry. Just a light touch made Shen Wu feel much more comfortable. Can I do this anytime in the future?